All right. Okie dokie, cool. Stream should be starting any minute, and we'll go through, I'll go through what they talk about, give you my opinions. Hopefully, this will be a little entertaining for y'all out there in TV land. All right. How many of you out there watching play Conquest? Let me know in the chat. Also, what armies do you play? I'd like to know if you're a dirty Dweg player, or a dejected Nord player, or a very happy Wadroon player. Hey, Demu, how you doing? Good evening from here. Well, I'm glad that you're here. Seems like they are still offline. As soon as they come online, you guys will know when they come online. And while they talk, I'm going to stay quiet for the most part, unless I have something really important to say, so you can get the full effect of watching the stream, you know. Only Nords, only Nords. That's what I like to hear. Fresh Nord player. Listen, my friend. Apparently Nords are getting a revamp in some way, so this will be pretty exciting. But I will say that Nords are a very rewarding army to play and win with. I think my first 6 to 10 games were straight slaughters, straight losses. And then recently, I haven't lost a game with Nords, I don't know, since Adepticon. That was 5 months ago. I think I may have lost a Nord against... I may have lost with Nords against my local Spires player, Tree Monkey, maybe once. And if there's someone else I lost against, I don't remember, I apologize. But once you get really good at the game, it's really hard to lose. And if you get good with Nords, you get good at the game. I'm just going to keep refreshing this until they pop up online. Spires and 100 Kingdoms. Well, I'm currently doing a 100 Kingdoms commission at the moment. Right? Got this box of horses. Oh, look at all these horses I got to paint, and got all these other 100 Kingdoms stuff I'm working on. And as far as Spires is concerned, I'm also collecting Spires myself. I plan on doing some oddball builds for Spires. Spires is the army that I wish I got into when I first got into the game. But many months afterwards, I didn't know how awesome their rules were or their different builds were. I think Spires is the one army where you can make like 1,000 different builds. It's like the Swiss Army knife of Conquest. Because we're a small community that grows here. I've been there. In First Blood, at least. Alright, cool. I've never played First Blood. Mostly because in our store, in our local area, people already play separate model miniature games, like Age of Sigmar 40k, and we wanted to play a rank and flank game to replace Warhammer Fantasy Battles from back in the day. So we all decided we're not playing First Blood, we're just playing Last Argument of Kings. And when Games Workshop comes out with this fantasy game, I'm still going to be pushing Conquest. You know, I don't have my fantasy armies anymore. I don't feel like buying any more 40k armies. You know, why spend $1,500 on an army to get basically the same experience as $500 worth of Conquest? Plus, alternate activations has spoiled me. I am hard pressed to play you go, I go games. I can't do it. I've pretty much dropped out of 40k. If any of you have been following some of my videos on this channel, I once in a while touch on 40k. I have about 23,000 points of Tyranids. Yes, 23,000 points of Tyranids. So I love Tyranids. I love 40k. Can't play the game anymore. It's too boring. It feels like I'm playing a baby's game, but that's just my opinion on it. AOS is the same thing. AOS is even more of a baby's game than 40k. I just can't do it. I can't just sit there for 30 minutes when my opponent does things. I'm just falling asleep and there's no tactics. There's nothing going on. I can't do it. 40k and AOS to me are like popcorn games. You don't take the game seriously. You just kind of mess around with your friends and whatever happens, happens because balance is near non-existence. But with Conquest, that's actually a very seriously competitive game. I would like if the rules were a little tighter, but Parabellum is making the rules tighter as the months go on. So I used to not have any confidence in Parabellum many months ago, many months ago. But today I am a fanboy, 100% fanboy. Because watching a company change course, just seeing them change course instills a lot of confidence in the customer base. Some clone marksman on my table getting painted. Nice. Yeah, rank and flank is what draws me to Conquest. Conquest is not cheap. I mean, true. I mean, I'm not going to go into cheap because cheap for you might not be cheap for me. Cheap is subjective. But if you want, you just go to the e-store, right? And you can now just buy a... Oh, what the hell? These weren't here before, these Eidolons. But you can just go on and buy a 2,000 point Fallen Old Dominion army for $400. You know what I get for $400 for Tyranids? I get like 500, 600 points. If that. But anyway, I'm not here to compare armies. Satoyoiku Selenio dual kits. Oh, here, we're live.
It's been a very busy summer for all of us at Conquest. Like Apple launched the iPhone 15.
What are these? Look at these things.
Yesterday, we are going to do something even more exciting, and you don't even have to switch your
they're satyrs. Look at that.
You don't need a USB cord for this podcast.
To the universal standard.
Whatever it is, it's already done for you. We've got all of that taken care of. So we're excited to have everybody here. And like many of the parents who are on here, I always have a picture of my wife and my kids and my wallet.
If you want tighter rules, you haven't seen. So I've been playing 10th since it came out, and 10th is not tight at all, not even close.
No money. So welcome everyone to the October through January launching. We've got a lot to talk about. We're gonna leave some things until October. We're gonna do another happy hour in October. We're gonna talk a little bit there about OP Season 3 in more detail. We're gonna give you a preview about it here, but we're gonna go into some significant launch around OP Season 3 and also
cool. Look at these things. Those are awesome models. Look at these.
We're looking at either the 13th or the 20th. We'll let you know the date shortly.
Whoa!
The 13th might work well because I'll be
mechanical ghouls. Look at this.
In Greece, so it might be fun to do a happy hour where we're all in one room. We'll see. I don't know if everybody else wants that.
Inquisitors, city-states. Eidolon, city-states.
But that'll come in October. Today, Leo's going to kick us
Look at this thing. What is this?
Look at 3 armies. Just 3.
That's awesome. Look at that model.
Not your 3. You can now try to guess which 3 they are.
All right.
But we're going to do some hanky-panky.
Let's talk about some armies here.
Well, yes. We're going to talk about some really exciting stuff. And we're just very excited about it.
I assume you guys can hear them correctly, right?
Now,
if not, let me know.
So most of you would have known that there is a big update, all right, for rules coming. This, you know it from Discord conversations, you know it from engaging with us through the rules email, right, on Facebook and so on. And so today we're going to actually talk about 2 major things. One is certain updates for particularly 3 factions. And we're also going to talk a little bit about what is the future of tournament play when it comes to scenarios. And
tournament play? Ooh, I like that.
We put a lot of effort into refining our scenarios for organized play in this update, right? And if you're familiar with tournament play, then you know how important these scenarios are.
Yes.
And why they're so important for us to solidify the foundation, right, of the campaign, of the tournament spot. Too many things I'm working on at the same time. Campaign. So starting with this update, we're going to be categorizing scenario packs into 2 groups, right? So we're going to have the additional scenario packs. That is for TLOK and First Blood, the same way you know it right now. And we're also going to have the tournament play scenario packs for both games as well. So the additional scenario packs are the packs for those who enjoy casual and narrative play, and you can think of it as an ever-expanding library, right? As we think of better ways to experience the game, we might innovate in scenario design. We're going to be regularly introducing fresh ways to experience the game. Now, the tournament play pack,
Damn.
right? It's going to be the definitive way to play competitive play.
Good.
And this is going to be a live document that will be updated, of course, taking into account the specific times and dates of tournaments and events, right? So what's interesting in this pack is that you might find modified versions of scenarios from the additional scenario pack. And when these scenarios, you have been played and have been tested further, they'll be integrated into our growing library and new ones will take their place. So don't be surprised if you come across two versions of the same scenario, each optimized for like a different kind of play. Now, at this point, it's important for me to tell you that scenario cards from the army support packs are still relevant. They're not outdated. They still reference scenarios from the additional scenario pack. And given the fact that we have two major tournaments coming, I just want to say that LGP and Michigan GP are still going to use the pre-update rules, right? So if you guys have
Hey, Tree, what's
painted
up?
your armies and prepared your list, you don't have to worry. You're still going to play the way that you prepared everything. And we have put a cutoff date, let's say, up to October 9th for all of events that are planned up until then, right? About 3 and something weeks from now, that you can still play with pre-updated rules.
Awesome.
So it doesn't really mess with your flow.
F. Is that me?
Hey, Leo, if the tournament scenarios are going to be more balanced, why are we even bothering with these additional scenarios?
That's all right. No, that's a fair point. And one of the things that we looked at
Was that me or was that them?
the tournament scenarios are definitely balanced, right, for competitive play, but nobody likes playing that way all the time, right? So the additional scenario pack versions of those scenarios cater to the more free army list building of narrative and casual play, right? Whereas the tournament pack essentially caters more to the current meta and how different armies are also balanced through the scenarios themselves, right? So it's important to keep that in mind, and this is why we put focus on different things between these two. So each one is, let's say balanced for the way it's intended to play. And now let's get to some really interesting things that a lot of people have mentioned, and some people have already been mentioning specific faction names.
So there's going to be.
Some of you have said Nords, and Nords will be.
So there's going to be scenario packs and tournament packs. Scenarios are more for casual stuff, and
in creating this rich and immersive world, right? And we've been listening to your feedback and hear that our Nords were not quite hitting the mark gameplay-wise, especially when it comes to how they play versus how they seem in the lore. They have such a deep
Correct.
lore, right? But that essence, that core spirit of the Nords wasn't really being captured, right?
Yeah, Nords played more like capture the flag army, which is not what Vikings do. Vikings do not play capture the flag.
Persistent warrior faction, right? But it's very poetic, but it was very reactive, right? It made the Nord forces felt like you were on the back foot and you had to wait for things to happen rather than being aggressive and active to use your special rules. So we wanted to change that, to flip that a little bit on its head. And so Ice, Flesh, and Blood, a reworked version of Blood of the Einherjar and Prophecy Unfulfilled are going to be the 3 new faction special rules for the Nords.
3 new faction special rules. What?
Essentially empowers the Nords to fight effectively, even in the harshest and most perilous terrain, right? After all, fighting in Mannheim, you're gonna have to be able to do that in order to be able to conquer there. And you will notice also that we have started to add a ton of lore with these rules, right? So it's important for us to connect these rules with the lore and further identify, right, with our favorite factions. So this is something that you're going to be seeing overall. Now, Blood of the Einherjar, the rework essentially continues to show the same fighting spirit of the Nords, right? Attack them and
go over the first one
in return. And this update takes it a little bit further, right? Expressing what martial ability and prowess means for the Nords, and encourage you to actively
Oh,
seek out the duels rather than you always have to be on the back foot waiting to first take the damage before you dish it out. And of course, for the avid Nord players, under the watchful eye of the High King, right, the mastery that plays with duels have been adjusted accordingly to take this role into account. Now, finally, we have Prophecy of Fulfilled, right, which
what?
further
Go over the rules.
amplifies
Read them
that
to
Nord,
us.
you know,
I can't. No, read them. Read the rules to me. What?
advance of the battlefield as quickly as possible and pile in on your
I can't even
opponent,
see
right?
that.
You're able now to swiftly amass and overwhelm
There we go.
All right, Leo. So why do monsters only get the benefit of these special rules? They're a huge part of the faction.
Okay, hold on. Prophecy unfulfilled. While an enemy regiment is currently engaged by a friendly regiment, other non-monster friendly regiments add +2 to their charge distance when charging that enemy regiment. Okay, so if I charge one regiment with raiders, and then my Mountain Jotnar now gets a +2 to his charge. So he basically gets the +2 upgrade that raiders get for free. Interesting. I mean, it doesn't really help the damage output of Nords, it just helps the charge. This is something that Wadrun get with their chance. But I could see some very strong combos with this, though.
Or the terrain.
So short answer is no. They're quite strong now when it comes to terrain, but it's not different, let's say, from Old Dominion ignoring resolves or city-states gaining that initiative through this.
And I didn't really get to read the other two rules that he had there. I was listening to him. So,
Right through
Hey,
the
Leo.
chance.
Leo, can I stop you for 1 second? Some people are having
Yes.
a hard time with your audio that's going in and out for the microphone.
Can everybody hear me now?
I can hear you fine, but maybe just I don't know what's causing it, to be honest. But I'm seeing that come through in the chat a lot.
Okay. Let's see.
That
Let's
means you
see
sound
if I
good to
can-
me. Somebody said it happens when you slow down. Oh, okay, so don't slow down.
Okay, so I'll speak as fast as possible. So yeah, like I said, like these three factions, right? They all have unique ways to play and unique ways to bend. Let's say the game.
wait, do Nords have.
So just like these factions, you're gonna have to adjust your tactics when fighting against the Nords. If you approach terrain like you, without taking that into account, you're gonna find yourself in a disadvantage, right? Because Nords are still in suffer from line of sight and from losing the impacts. Now, it's just also important here to note that terrain placement is critical in TLUK. And just because a faction has an advantage over it, we should not be discouraged from and affect how our terrain is set up, right? It's part of a war game to understand a faction's strength and play around them rather than change a core aspect of the game, right? And in the process, create maybe unintentional imbalances. And of course, you've all asked, there's another faction, right, that we have discussed a lot.
I mean, that was just all clown shoes, really. I couldn't really read the rules. I don't know what that was about.
Adi has a question. Sorry.
Is it available on Discord already for me to see?
Adi?
No, it's not.
Maybe
Oh,
Adi decided.
Rice put them up in the
Sorry, no
Nord
question. Sorry,
channel.
go ahead.
No worries. So next up, it's Dwegum, right?
I'll look over these three rules later in the stream, okay?
They have been a lot of discussion around them. They have been meta defining, and they have been driving this cleave arms race, right? That we call it. And this is for two main reasons, right? A very high defensive stats, so we're talking about naturally high defensive resolve.
Yeah,
And then
Famous,
it's
we'll
also
look at the
about
rules later,
combining
okay?
with, high range damage. So it was, let's say, we had to find a way of how to adjust these two core aspects of the Dwegum without actually underpowering them. So, big changes here. First of all, no more defense 5, and Bastion becomes hardened across the board. No more Bastion. The hold Ray also goes to Resolve 4. Now, this is right. The biggest obstacle to fighting the Dwegum is, that unbreakable defense of 5, right? Essentially, that meant that if you don't have cleave, then you cannot really operate well in a competitive setting, and that sets a cleave arms race, right? That has a profound effect in the game's meta.
That's
Now,
true.
capping that defense to 4 allows armies that rely on volume of attacks, like Spires, maybe Northern builds, right, to perform better against them. This different playstyle is now becoming more viable in a competitive setting, and we're trying to adjust the meta based on that. So essentially, Dwegom transforms from the faction you need cleave to combat to the faction against cleave is less useful. That's quite an interesting change and an important one in terms of meta. Now, that shift in dynamic
Wait,
not
what?
only maintains the defensive nature of the Dwegom, but also aligns them thematically, right? Given, I mean, they were fighting literal dragons. So overall, regiments like Steel Forge, Stone Forge have all moved to defensive 4, and abilities that previously just added defense, right now they have been updated to either give Harden or something else. And even we're also very careful with how Harden stacks up, right? So that's
Okay, I'm glad he said that. I'm
But
glad.
wait a minute, Leo. That high defense, that was a core feature.
Because it seemed like he was nerfing defense, but then making hardened everywhere in the army, because a lot of the armies had Bastion. So if you got rid of defense, but gave everything hardened, then Cleave would be affected even more. But he just said you're going to look at Cleave more carefully in the future. I'm sorry, hardened more carefully in the future.
Arms nature of the Dwegom, right? The way that they employ magic, which is a big part of who they are, and want to balance them and adjust them where we see fit. So first of all, Dweg Magic got a lot more interesting. Now, the first change was Flame Wall, reducing some of the damage, and we gave back some utility. Now, the Tempered Sorcerer may still perform the 2 spellcasting actions as part of the Supremacy, right? So that's the same, but the offensive output has been reeled in a little bit. And that's mostly, for example, the Focus Mastery now has been adjusted towards that as well.
Inflict 1 hit per success on target enemy regiment. If at least 3 successes are scored, target enemy regiment cannot gain the inspired rule as a result of a successful charge until the end of the round. Okay, that's interesting. I like that change. I like that change very much. And Roots of Stone. Oh, the Dweg have other schools of magic. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Target regiment that has not activated. Okay.
For the things that they got, and
and it's gone.
Make sure they're not just naturally shut off. They have to be working a little bit harder. However,
we'll go over the Dwegs.
Has been reimagined, and
I'm sure that'll be put up on the Dweg channel as well.
There were certain synergies that didn't work well. There was a little bit of game design that we found a little bit outdated from our end. And so magma spells now work around the erupting rule. It's a terrain attribute, think of it like that works in synergy with the magma spells, enabling the sorcerer.
Wow, magma school completely got changed.
Pieces of zonal or garrison terrain, and even extend the range of spells.
Thank you, Rice. I know you're watching. Thank you for putting these up in the Discord. So if you could please put these up in the Dweg Discord too, that'd be nice as well. Thank you very much, sir.
How heralds have been adjusted.
Please.
So now. Each herald, fire, ray, stone, and magma, interact with spells that share their element. So the herald of fire can act as a short range node, right, to enemy regiments in contact, a bit like this. Regiments with the herald of stone gain extra benefits from stone spells, and herald of magma essentially turns pieces of terrain to erupting terrain. Now you're also going to notice that if you have the herald of magma, you're not. Keep in
mind that Conquest has an activation issue that defensive spells are typically not as useful as offensive spells because you lose the activation. So these spell updates better be really, really good for you to lose a card activation in this game.
Steel Shaper. Now, for those of you that play Dragon First Blood, and you've seen a version and let's say build of the Steel Shaper that is a lot more thematic and a lot more interesting, and there was no reason why not, represent essentially.
Well, looking good so far.
Same light, really okay. And so the Steel Shaper has been reforged into a frontline support spellcaster, equipped with a complete new set of abilities and a brand new supremacy ability. It's called Ferric Embrace. That more closely aligns with the Steel Shaper's essentially elemental, barely Dwegom anymore nature.
Interesting, I like that.
The Steel Shaper doesn't take a retinue, and we also put a little tidbits of lore, explaining why. What's that?
Thanks, Leo. So are you basically saying that the Dweg players can't just show up and throw minis on the table anymore? They have to build some strategy into their gameplay?
I mean, definitely there is a little bit.
Here comes the
There is
politician
the
response.
theme of the
I like the poking that these guys have with
the
each other.
things
It's
that they
that's
get,
honest and
and
refreshing.
all that efficiency they had in terms of defense now is more evenly spread out across the faction. It's also extremely important the fact that it opens up the game design space for us to be able to give Dwegom all these cool new things.
I find that the Dweg are pretty awesome all around. I mean, I actually bought an army. I'm painting them right now. Everything but the Wardens. The Warden seems like the odd man out in the army.
Talk about? I think you said there were 3 factions we were talking about.
Yes, that's right. So now Spires made a
Spires.
number of important rules adjustments, right?
All
That
right.
feel right at home in this new meta. So they're a faction that can employ volume of attacks placed out, and they now get a few new tools to make that happen. So let's start with superior creations. So
When selecting regiments for any of Lineage Highborns, blah 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 blah, you may increase a regiment's cost by 5. If you do, increase a regiment's clash by 1. Oh, he got rid of the evasion.
the important bit, right? But what is happening is that the upgrades are no longer limited to the Warlord's Warband. So, for example, if you have superior creations, now you can upgrade regiments to Lineage Highborn,
cool.
and Medic Assassin Warbands, right? So, despite the loss of evasion, the real value of this rule is in the additional.
Hey, Tree Monkey, you watching this? Sorry, you guys aren't evasion anymore.
So players have been asking for this, and I think it was just
prepare for the Cleave meta to come back.
But we don't stop there.
But that's pretty cool.
The Ferromancer has gotten a little bit of love in two ways.
I like this. I like this so far.
Under Spire subfaction has gotten a little bit of love through the Unnumbered Menagerie. Now the rule has been expanded to also include brute drones. Now, as they're a staple under Spire Regiment, there was no reason why they should be part of it. They are now excluded from the heal.
As a Spires collector, I found the brute drones to be the most worthless things in the army. I completely ignore them whenever I could, mainly because they're just restricted in a crappy warband. But that actually is kind of cool that you can heal brute drones. That's pretty damn awesome.
This new action allows the Ferromancer to suppress enemy formations and provides friendly regiments an opportunity to overwhelm their enemies, right? Encounter like naturally highly defensive.
That is a good defensive ability in the game. That is amazing. Can I just grab this here? Yep. I'll talk about that after the stream. Why this is a good defensive ability.
Viable, right?
That is awesome.
Sure that we arrange that meta to go away from that cleave heavy way of playing. But of course, another playtest favorite regiment was Distillation Drones, and they received the glow up as well.
Nice.
So we got a new rule, reprocessing agents, and for us this was a great thematic way to add some more interesting utility to the regiment. So now the Spires have all the tools they need to combat highly defensive armies and find their place right in this new meta. Now, there are also some overall changes that have been made. For example,
I'll read that after the stream. We're going to go over all their little notes after the stream, okay? Or after they're done streaming, I'm going to go over everything. So prepare for a nice long evening, my friends.
Interacts with broken, whether the character is broken or the regiment that is about to benefit is broken. And we made some point adjustments to the Dweg North Spires as well. They are minor, but they're, to take into account some of the things that they lost or have gained. Right, and finally, you're also going to notice when the update comes out Monday that Seleni Hunters and Seleni Rangers
updates coming out Monday.
Changed to Saturday.
You let it slip. Updates on Monday.
And for reasons that I'm not going to tell you, Saturday might have gained a little rule to reflect on something. But that is as far as I'm going to say. So yes, this was a fantastic update for us. This was, I think, an update that a lot of you were expecting. Actually,
yes, I'm very happy with these updates.
A little bit more
without going further in detail of the specific changes, which I'll go into later.
Find creative ways in which to adjust to a GOM, not just take away from them, but really take and give where it's appropriate, right? And ultimately, this is
no. If something is too strong, you do take away from them. If it's too strong,
finding ways to make things work.
Just like if something's weak, you give to them. You don't take away from the weak. That's why I want that balanced sandwich to be squished in the middle.
Anything before we take some of the questions? Do you want to add anything to this?
Not at this stage. Rules is 100% Leo's métier. I leave him to these. This is his realm. The same way I keep it with the same. He keeps me out of rules with the same vigor I keep him out of lore.
Fair enough.
One day I will find my way into the writer's office.
No,
You
are
won't.
way too obvious, man.
No, you won't.
Way
If
too
you weren't
obvious.
showing up with a torch, a sword, and yelling "burn it all," maybe.
So, Leo, a question: are the
All right.
Valkyries?
These guys are pretty funny. I like that. Very refreshing. I like that.
So, if the question is to expand Volva's warband, and no such change hasn't happened, there is a change to the Husk Worlds that their standard bearer dropped by 5 points and they've gained Untouchable. That is to make the comparison with the Valkyries better. But for right now, the Volva has not received any.
Volva Warband has no
Twitter,
change. Okay.
or Twitch, I should say, we're being asked: is all Bastion gone or just on Dwego?
No. Sebastian is gone on Dwego, right? And so you're going to notice from the Infernal Rider no longer has a Bastion. All of the things for Dwego that gave Bastion.
I have really strong opinions about that change. We'll talk about that later.
Taken a form of pardon or something that helps them defensively in that way. But overall, expect the defense cap to be at 4.
Okay. There are no plans for 100K changes at the moment, correct?
So no, at the moment.
No, 100 Kingdoms is perfect right where they're at.
Our
Really good.
Update was about these 3 factions, and later on, we will be looking for 100 Kingdoms and the other factions for the next update. But for right now, we're not announcing major updates. Let's say
here I
like this
can
one.
add one thing that our policy is to do relatively small rolling updates and see how the meta adapts as regularly as necessary, not with like a particular 3 month, 6 month, however long period. It's as necessary, and where necessary, we're going to come in.
Well, yeah, a lot of your rules updates on the
all of us,
PDF
so
should happen like
it's-
immediately. They shouldn't take months.
interesting question.
To patch and fix rules wordings
I'm going to go.
should
through
not
them.
be
I'm gonna
taking
get-
this
I'm
long.
back a few minutes.
When someone goes on Discord and points out a big error in the
so
rules,
yeah, no,
tomorrow the
we
PDF
do look
should
at
be
all the
updated.
armies, and we do pay a lot of attention.
Otherwise, why do you have a living? Why do you call your rule set a living PDF when
And we
it gets
do
updated
what's called
at just as
word
quick as
lurk. There we go.
other
Lurk in the
companies'
forums
rules do?
and the Discord.
Just comes off as a marketing gimmick that most
to
people see
pay
right
attention
through.
and try to see the trends and what's going on.
Did we change or expand the Karawa spells?
The Caraway spells, from what I remember, no.
Okay.
So there's no change in the Caraway spells.
Yes, so I will be going over these
Eric,
changes
we
after
are
their
in
stream is done.
these on Monday, so there's no need for NDA changes in advance. They're coming real fast to you. The app is already getting ready to be uploaded for updating as well, so it's coming quick. Are there going to be any changes to retinues in this update? I think it's fair to say that we've announced all of the changes, but just to make sure I do take care of the questions. Correct?
So,
These are the changes.
Yes, that's right. So there's no change in the retinues, nor is there any adjustment to any specific retinue. So no retinue shortcuts. They're all safe. No retinues were harmed during the making of this update.
Catherine, just hang on. The edgy of you must hang on. That's all I can say about that. Nord Army rules will be published on Monday. Cody, I'm not going to run through them all again, but don't worry. They're coming fast and furious. There will not be a Project 9 vote this year. We'll do something different. We don't normally do that every year to answer that question. But saved Army lists in the app auto update for points, rules, etc., or do they need to be redone?
The Army lists. Yeah. Oh,
I
and our
think I can answer
developer
that.
and our developer.
Oh, Jonas has joined. Welcome.
the most qualified person to answer that.
Yeah, so I can. Yeah, for this update, there won't you won't need to change anything in the list. They will basically auto update.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Will we be having updates to the Conquest Legends campaigns? Jordan, you must have joined.
I wish they would fix the web issue with making lists, that if your list is like a day or two old and you try to change some options on your warbands, like a regiment standards or something, the website will not let you change it. You have to actually delete the entire warband and redo the warband. That's my biggest nitpick with the army builder at the moment. It's really annoying.
Yeah, it says that.
And that is an issue that's been brought to their attention months ago, so there's no point in me bringing it to their attention again. They already know it.
And the wonderful wizard that has made all of this happen has joined the call. And so I'm going to give the floor to Leo and Panayotis again to talk about the app updates that are going on.
Oh, app
updates!
updates.
Be very, very excited. And yes, those are new models behind me. So I have already released some teases, and some of you have noticed Stavro has a few too. So Easter eggs abound.
Easter eggs, just go to the shop. They're right there, buddy. Thank you. It's pretty awesome.
That's exciting. It's like, the feeling when you're testing something like that we've been making, and it's just so unbelievably cool in terms of practicality. And I think I've
worked on MMOs as video games in the past. I know that feeling very well.
We have our Conquest companion app. Hopefully, everybody's using it.
Yep.
We know who isn't. No, just kidding. And and on Monday, part of our army list building is one thing, but we always want to make sure that we provide the best tools for the job, the best tools that
you do. Your army builder is pretty damn on point.
We look at the quality of player experience. Quality of player experience, right? Quality of player life. And so what we wanted to do is add a very important feature to the app, and that is how running a tournament, right? From the very beginning
nice.
to the very end, when it comes to vanguards out here or players, right? We felt that the whole process of setting up a tournament, the whole process of registering players, making sure that everybody gets their AGM, all of those things.
I've had issues with AGM in the past.
They have to be streamlined, and they have to be consolidated, right, within this one tool that you already have on your phone. So there was no point for us to not go ahead with some great updates. So Panagiotis, would you mind presenting us?
Yeah, I'm actually going to start presenting. Just give me a minute.
So what we're going to see right now is how to run a brand new tournament from the get-go.
Okay, cool.
So this is the new home screen that you're going to be seeing in your app, and we're going to go ahead and click on new tournament.
Nice. Hey guys, if you're new to my stream, hit the sub button.
You're going to find a few basic.
Let's get me to 500 subs. All right, come on, guys. It's just you hit the sub and you hit the like. Real easy. Sub and like. You're done, right? Bada boom.
Games or first blood. The points. You can find.
Cool. Is a club option in there?
Store, an event, or something or other. The typical things. And you also have right then and there a way to put your OP kit code.
Look at this. This is awesome.
Daryl, do you mind if I tease just a little bit the small change of the OP kit code because it makes sense within the context of the tournament?
Sure. JJ, is that a question that you have that's regarding this immediate stuff, or can it wait till we're done with the presentation, this part of the presentation? Oh, I think you hit the button by mistake.
So
see ya, JJ. Oh.
Oh, you didn't hit the button.
It just has to do. It just has to do with when we upload this, will it automatically update on the calendar or not?
No.
Or if that's something we still have to do.
Calendar is
no.
For now.
The calendar.
For now.
Yeah.
I love their calendar function.
Another foreshadow.
It's a beautiful function.
Now,
the big company doesn't have that function, but these guys do.
Running the actual tournament. So the only thing what I'm going to spoil here for the purposes of the app is that from now on you need one OP kit code per tournament, regardless of the amount of people, right? And if you want to make things a lot easier, you can just add it right by starting the tournament in, so you don't have to go back home and have to do everything later. So let's start the tournament here. Right, and so this is the UI essentially you see when you first start running the tournament. You have the normal app header, which is you can go back to and you can search for special rules.
Daryl.
You can scan QR codes. So
sorry, Daryl says it functions better than most governments. Sorry, Daryl. It functions better than all governments.
Right, essentially it shows event current status. Right?
That's funny, dude.
Whether you are
I like him already. I like him already.
Players. And
then again, if you're from Greece and you have any faith in a government, you must have just been born yesterday. But let's not talk about that here.
Data, just in case you want to edit something, you can go back and add your OPKit code, right? Not having it right there in that minute doesn't mean you can't.
That's funny.
Later, right? For ease of use. And then below that, you're going to find the main UI, which is split into 3 basic parts. So you have the overview, which is the basic information, right, in stats. Then you have the players, where players will be added. And
I'll say this. It's interesting. They kind of blew through the army balancing and army rules. Now they're taking their time through this, where I think this is like the least important aspect of the Conquest hobby, while they should have just talked about the rules changes a little more. That's my opinion, because this is very niche. Most people watching this are probably never going to deal with this tournament app ever, But the rules part, everyone's going to deal with the rules part. We lost our faith in our government the day we were born in Greece.
No, right, which is great, and or, and here's the kicker, or you can scan the player by creating through the app a QR specific code, a code to the player. And so what you have to do as a tournament organizer is simply scan the player. The player will present their QR code. The QR code will be generated from the app when
I can see, yeah.
And you will be able to, by scanning the QR code, to extract the pin number of the player, the faction, and the army list. So simply,
I could try to demonstrate that a little bit if you want.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
So just to give you an idea, so if I go back here to my lists, okay. So now I have
I'm glad his list names are all clean.
If I export a PDF, from now on I will also be getting a QR code printed on that PDF list.
Oh!
And I can also generate the same QR code right here within the app. So even if I don't have the list printed,
wow,
say I only have it on my
that's
phone,
awesome.
I can still generate the QR code for the.
That's pretty awesome. These lights are way too bright.
Yeah, and that's a game changer for any tournament organizer, because essentially, you show up with your list. You generate that QR code, the tournament organizer literally just scans it, and that's all the information you have to do. You can go through players, through like a number of players in a breeze, and even if you show up with your list printed and you don't have your phone right on you, that's fine. As long as you export it.
All right, cool, let's mute this. Not that important. Look at this. Eidolon city-states. Once again, this model... Oh, are a lot of people trying to access the website? Because I can't click on anything. Yeah. I think their eShop is having a click fest currently. There we go. We're getting something here. Oh, all my clicking is happening at once. The Satiroi dual kit. Yeah, these are the satyrs. With spears and these cool-ass shields. Look at these shields. Look at the shields with the ropes on it. That's awesome. Are they still talking about this thing? Yeah. The Satiroi dual kit. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, the eShop's a little bonkers at the moment, so I'm not going to spend... I'd like to spend more time here, but I actually can't because it's not being receptive to clicking. Shucks.
Also
darn it.
Build some other features. But even as it is right now, it includes the basic data that is required to register a player in the tournament. Plus, you will know if that list was built for the points of that tournament and whether it had any errors. So you have that basic information.
And I'm just realizing these are the names are for friends. I just realized the names.
It's probably a happy coincidence.
So from there, once you've done that, essentially you can edit player data at any time, right? You can drop a player, and you can.
Yep, the eShop is taking a big dump on us, folks.
Right. Essentially, what Friendly Fire is.
Serious Order says, I missed the changes. All I heard is no more bashing to Dweg. After their stream is done, I'll be going over the changes I recorded, can find on Discord and or remembered. So I'll talk about that with you after their stream is over.
Person that is sitting right next to you for like 12 hours getting there. So essentially,
all right.
What Friendly Fire does is that if the amount of players...
Oh, Friendly Fire. Nice.
The first round and first round only, so that is before any wins or losses are scored. You get the choice to essentially register as a Friendly Fire team.
Nice.
So the app does whatever it can to not pair you against each other.
I went to a tournament like 4 weeks ago in Orlando, and my buddy and I both got paired up in the very first round. It was Dweg versus Nord. It was a real nasty fight. So I'm glad that this is barred from happening in tournament events.
In a Friendly Fire group.
Hey, kitty.
So you'll notice that on the first round, it will be basically boys against
beautiful
girls.
Kitty.
Great. So let's then start it up. Let's start with round one.
Just to note here that we have the number of rounds generated based on the number of players we have registered.
Cat's hungry.
So we have 3 rounds, and we also have the scenarios for each round randomly drawn beforehand. So we can see the scenarios, and of course we can change them if we want. We can select a different one for any of the rounds.
Yeah.
I think it's now a good time to also show that we have
hold on 1 second,
the
folks.
Scenario pack. So up here at any moment you can hit this button and you'll have the scenario PDF document. And this is for you to reference. And this is just the normal PDF that you can zoom in and pan as you do with any other app.
Okay, well, the mic's unmuted now if you want to say that.
Next to the scenarios, we have this I button here.
Mrs. Conquest here.
Basically, but at the page, directly at the page where the scenario is.
Oh, awesome. Look at that.
Nice
the scenarios are on your phone now. I don't have to go to PDF.
To answer the question, yes, we will be making a guide on exactly with guiding you through the processes and the steps. We'll make sure to have screenshots of the app, tell you what does what, and be able to help you go through it.
Cool. Thank you. Please.
The information found there. Now, of course, like Panagod said, you get a random scenario there, but of course, we encourage pre-selecting the scenario. So if you want to pre-select the scenario, but if you just want to do a fun, whatever, do random scenarios, you can do that.
I like this. I like this.
Choose the scenario you want playing. So let's see who plays against whom.
Okay.
And Leo, I'm keeping track of questions that we can ask at the end. I know a lot of you are asking.
Obviously, Rachel is going to kick Joey's butt.
We will get to them.
Monica is going to lose to Ross.
So,
and Chandler is going to slam Phoebe.
At the very top, you now see that the subtype has changed to round 1, right? So this always tells you exactly where you are doing the tournament. And then these are the first pairings. So
what we could do here, if we're not happy with the random pairing that was generated, we have some options here. We can basically switch tables if we want. So we can grab the table 1 pair and just move them to table 2.
That's cool.
3, for example, or we can grab individual players. And we can switch them around. So let's say we select here Ross from table 3.
So just so you guys know, a little bit of honesty for me, right? This has nothing to do with these guys. My ADHD, my attention span is turned off. This section about the tournament part of the app, my brain is done. I want to go on to something else. I want to just turn the stream off and go play a game or paint a model. Like, it's done. But that's me. What does this have to do with the stream? Nothing. I'm just letting you guys have a little peek inside of my mind. That if my attention span isn't catered to constantly by something shiny or important or interesting, I just hop onto something else. That's pretty much it. That my pen kind of exploded on my fingers.
And as soon as you have all the tables filled in just a second. Okay, that was an accident, but anyway, why not? And then as soon as we have all the tables filled in, then we can lock the results unless we can reset.
I can tell they're very happy about this feature in the Conquest hobby. They're very happy about this. And they should be proud. It is pretty damn awesome.
We get this warning, no more changes are allowed.
Do not let my
anymore. And then if we go back
inability to have my attention on it
we'll see that now
shed a negative light on it. No.
After
this is awesome. This is also something that you have to fiddle with on your own to learn.
Now, actually,
basically, we're going through an instruction manual right now.
3 and onwards are going to start getting quite interesting as well. So, essentially, first of all, we keep going through the rounds, so you can, let's say, generate the pairings, and you can keep giving different results. Now, what's
my brain is turning off? Yes, I know there's different rounds. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, guys. That's how I am.
We're going to be moving essentially as having a tiebreak, having strength of schedule from now on as a tiebreaker. So there are a few changes happening there as well, and the app is taking that into consideration. So this is something that will be introduced in our.
This is like boardroom stuff.
Essentially, for those that do not know, strength of schedule essentially not only takes into account whether you won or lost, but it also takes into account
because, like locally, let's say I have a tournament going on and there's 8 players. The other 8 players don't have to know anything about this. Just I have to know something about this. That's it, and that's something that I have to spend 20-30 minutes on fiddling with and playing with on my own. This is not good for presenting to an audience in a sense. It's highbrow. It's too high shelf. It's like a 1%er sort of deal.
That you're put in a fair place in the like, how do you say it, in the standings. So let's go through. So there is the option to drop a player, and
just wanted to quickly show that as well. So right now we're at the end of round 2.
Oh my God! Yes, it can drop players. See now I'm. I have to control my emotions.
Event, so we have a player dropping. It just drops to the bottom of the standings, and when we generate the pairings of the next round, we obviously now
is the eShop. Is the eShop up yet? Or is it still dead? Man, you people. Yeah, keep buying these things. Come on. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's go back. What do we have here? Selenioi dual kit. So these are the second half of the satyrs. Oh, these are ranged. Oh, city-states got ranged coming soon. Look at these guys. These models are friggin' awesome. Look at these guys. Nice. I like the placement of the arms and legs and the bows, so the models don't look like they're just ramming into each other constantly, like bow chosen. You have a hard time ranking up bow chosen together. They're still talking about that. Beautiful models. Good job, Parabellum. Good job. I still like these Inquisitors from the city-states. Look at these things. What do they do? Inquisitors offer essentially fast-moving, offensive flanking. Oh, they're like the Morai for the city-states. They look awesome. They're like flesh ghouls. Look at that. That is sick. On the cloth has awesome detail on it where you can paint the strips. It's really good for detail painting or dry brush painting. Look at that. That's beautiful. They're still talking about that. Let's see. Have you guys seen the new kits for 2,000 points? They came out like a couple days ago or whatever. Fallen Legion, 2,000 points, $400. And the Glorious Charge, 100 Kingdoms, $500. Look at this. Uh-oh, look, I have something in my shopping bag. Which one of these two is it? Who knows? But it is one of them.
start going through them?
Oh,
as
you
I
can.
see them?
I wrote a bunch down as well. Joey's been forwarding them, so I've been. Yeah, whatever is best for you.
So I get a question from Carnivorous Kang. Will the data gotten from the tournament results be public for browsing, such as placing, full players, win rate, list, companions? The answer is yes. This is what we've been. This
Nice.
is what we are working
Record
towards.
keeping. I like that.
Eventually, we want to be.
Sorry, guys.
To have that information to keep.
This is what it is.
You can see, right? You can see all that data. Now, until we have a good way to we implement essentially live browsing of those and public browsing, we might have to do, let's say, state of the game updates, and which we're going to be talking about those.
Radically Gaming asked this question here. I know you can't see it because of my seat right here, but he says, will the Inspire rule ever be put so that charges can benefit from it? Radically Gaming? No! That's a horrible idea. That's what Shock and other abilities are for. No! What are you, an OD player?
Take your phone out and update the tournament or move to the next round. So it's not, you don't necessarily have to do everything in one sitting. It saves everything. Can you choose which version of the rules to use for a tournament so as to lock in rules right around when a new rule set comes out? So here's the thing. Right now, with the current rules, you don't have the choice to choose over one or the other. So when there's an update, this is going to be updated as well. Now, if for a...
Ooh, that sounds a little messy.
Something like that is necessary, we're going to cross that bridge when we have to. But overall, when we update to a new version, all of our systems we want to be updated.
So basically, if you have a tournament coming up that's using older rules, but you're not within the cutoff point for the new rules, be careful because the app is going to change the rules for your armies, even though the tournament organizer are using previous rules. So be wary of that, folks.
This happens from the army list building side of the game. So for example,
sorry, Sirius.
Whether the army list is valid or not is checked right at the list building stage, so the QR isn't generated. So
let's see if I could hold on. Let's go for another capture here. Hold on. I'll keep him going here.
What it's translated into.
Well, I was going to go over the rules changes, but I'm going to save that till after the end of the stream, just so I have it all together.
That's the beauty of it.
What about tiebreakers, Leo? How are they handled?
Oh my God, tiebreakers!
So right now, tiebreakers are VPs are the tiebreakers, but we're going to be moving soon into a strength of schedule system.
Please.
As, you have your wins and losses, of course, as the main way in which to see who won, who lost. But then you also take into consideration who you lost against or who you won, right? So between players, let's say they've had, let's say 2 losses and 2 wins each, the person that has lost from winners will be, when it comes to equal things, like how do I say it, winning against a strong player or losing against a strong player, strong in terms of that particular tournament, right, is count stronger as if, for example, you have lost against a player that has lost all of their games or have won over a game that has lost a number of games. Of course, the main differentiator always is the amount of games that you won and lost. But this is This is the strength of schedule is the tiebreaker.
This does not affect 99% of the Parabellum customer base.
A way to also change the tiebreaker and go into victory points as well, so you can choose your play experience.
Advanced registrations. Can people sign up in advance?
So I guess like the way that you can use the app really does allow you to do that, because essentially the only thing you have to do is talk with your TO, right? And the TO can simply open their app and start the registration process right then and there. So, and like I said before, you don't have to finish the whole thing right then in one sitting. You can open any part of the app. You can start the process of submitting a tournament, and you can stop.
Yes, I know. It is what it is, guys.
Whenever you want it. So practically, you can open the app, let's say register a couple players, and then wait, and then all that can happen in different times, so you don't have to be there.
Yeah, fair.
And then White asked about
no more questions.
In-app rules and question capabilities. Is that something we're looking at down the road?
Ooh, good question, actually.
So, yes. So, like
Yes!
you saw right now for the scenarios, let's say PDFs.
Finally, in-app
this is
rules, folks,
something
eventually.
that is easy to do with the PDFs because it's just for, let's say it's easy to just browse and see what happens in the pack. The reason that for the rules PDFs so far is, first of all, there's a matter of space, so there's certain technical hurdles that we have to go through, and the other thing is that we want to visually structure it different. We want to get there, but make it in a way that it's even more useful.
Yeah, Parabellum, if you're watching this, which I know one of you are, I don't know, I'm just making that up. Make your entire hobby, all of it, centered in the app. Everything. Centralize it in one spot. Please. Have that be your goal somewhere on a whiteboard in the office. So, like in 1 year, 2 years from now, you go in the app, it has everything. Scenarios, rules, army lists, tournaments, where to find your next wife in a bathroom somewhere. Everything in that app. Please, just have it all in the app. Good. Do that. Centralize it. Beautiful, please.
But this is essentially what you're seeing right now is the base of a grander tournament organizing and tournament running system.
Yes.
Right? So in the future, we're looking for far more complex, let's say, systems where everything, even for Vanguards, even
Tree Monkey, stop asking questions.
Tournaments later on, give
stop.
Feedback or send.
You don't even run tournaments. Stop.
To be able to do that all through the app, and so that a player-facing part of the tournament system is something that we're planning as well.
Tree Monkey's a local player.
So we're up at the end
Right
of
here.
the happy hour time that I slotted for 5 o'clock. Seems like we're forgetting something, though.
Yeah, the catalog stuff.
Are there any other questions for people to have for Leo? Or
Literally, it's in the title.
Am I forgetting something, Leo? JJ raised his hand.
Right here. Come on, catalog stuff.
Yes, hello. Question in regards to kind of player activities. Will player accounts be linked into the tournament? So kind of if there are issues with individual players, that can be more regularly tracked? Or is that more the future?
Oh, so just to make sure, are you talking, let's say, with a player with a specific PIN number being, let's say, disqualified or dropped too many times? Is this the kind of
yeah, like players who regularly drop on second round, or players if they were forced or removed from the tournament due to cheating or things like that? Will that be tracked within app and linked to player accounts? Or is that not a plan?
So right now, we definitely make sure we track the fact that somebody's being dropped, and that is necessary for.
How are you going to track if someone's cheating?
The next pairings.
That's an odd question.
But then
someone's been bad touched by a cheater.
A report system in the app.
Yeah, thank you. Please.
We leave that also, to each communities and
yes,
groups,
we're good. We're good with that.
Community leader, and the TO.
99% of mistakes you see on the tabletop are literal mistakes. They're not actual cheating. Even though when you go to a tournament, you play as if everyone's cheating. That's how you defend yourself. But most people don't cheat.
But for the community, we leave that to our Conquest community leaders, to our Vanguard.
I told people in chat to check the eShop for the updates, and now they're having fun checking the eShop. There you go.
Characteristics like that.
What am I doing?
So
I can just do this. God,
happens,
I'm so old.
Wee! And we can just get them. They can just put them right on their shirt.
Oh, hold on.
Little literary reference there for the reading group here. Hopefully, Constantinos. I hope you appreciated that.
There we. Why didn't I do this before? Come on, man.
Devilish.
Come on, fat. Come on, man.
All right, so
I've been in search we've been giving to people, so we've banned a lot of people right from the get-go.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so I have
genius. Why didn't I do this before? Come on.
Continue the happy hour past the allotted time, and I think there is a missing piece that I have to do.
Yes, you did a happy hour 4 months ago. Please do another one right now, please.
Questions are done, right?
Yes.
Are we good? All right, so I know this is some of the things that you've all been waiting for, and we're excited to show you.
Yeah.
Some of the new stuff.
Yes.
As they say, bright and shinies are coming up. So
yes.
Let me just get this screen going.
Oh, does that mean my
And
spot
hopefully
here is going to
you
go
can
away?
see it
Oh,
on your
my spot
screen.
went away. There I am. Okay.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Everyone see it okay?
Yep.
I can't see you anymore, so I'm on full screen. So you're going to have to say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes, we can, Daryl.
Perfect.
Yes, we
Thank
can.
you, Reese. Oh, now why is it acting so weird? All right, so I know everyone is aware of the Tantor and the Drum Beast, but I want to point out that they are releasing next week.
Nice.
They're en route to people. They've all begun to ship. So I thought it would be a really good idea to start off with the things you haven't yet seen in person, but that are coming this month. We're very, very excited, both appreciative of your incredible support as we crowdfunded the die and tool and die making of this beasts, I should say, and also just how excited we are for people to have these on their tables.
All right.
And see the few of you that have seen them in person at like Gen Con or some of the other events, I think will agree they live up to the hype. And then the separate pieces that are coming individually.
Beautiful.
For free for those who bought the bundle, I should say, and individually moving forward. And these are great poses, gang. Super exciting. And making the deluxe base only seemed appropriate for the size and the exciting sculpt.
That's interesting that the hunting pack is one base.
Most of you, but I still feel like
I want to see someone buy 3 of those bases for a hunting pack regiment.
One to the Radroon players, of course, it's enormously, pardon the pun, enormously important to them, but it's also super important to our company. This is a big undertaking for us. And so, again, Stavro, I don't know if you want to add anything in, but I want to express my gratitude for everyone's support, but also share with you just how beautiful they came out.
I'm just glad I get to sleep again. That did not happen this summer. So
True.
yes.
Nice.
True that.
It's a fantastic.
True that,
I
home
wish I
skillet.
could claim it is the largest plastic model, but a certain plastic bucket that will not be named technically retains the title. But you've got to see the scale of this beast to get it. Those Wadroon that you see,
Plastic bucket. What is he talking about? Plastic
on top of it
bucket.
are to scale with our other Wadroon. That should give you an idea of what you're looking at.
So those who ordered it, stand by. They're coming soon. So as we noted earlier, the Selene and the Satiri are coming next in October as your new dual kit expansion for the city-states.
There you go, city-states, folks.
Jump in here about sculpts and things that you want to share in particular about these.
Beautiful.
So you can all, obviously see the origin of the naming convention for both of these. We wanted to, basically use mythology. At the same time, we wanted to steer away from traditional depictions of beastmen. So we wanted to have this nobility to them. You will notice that the Satiri are a little bit more aggressive, shall we say, than the Selene. This is intentional.
They're melee.
Find out in the lore, which will be slowly expanding over time in the living world. I am not yet at liberty to divulge that, but very soon you will have more information. And their battlefield roles are equally separate between basically backline poking and aggressive infiltration. So these are units that will give the city-states player a tremendous amount of versatility when it comes to what you traditionally expect from a line of phalanxes coming your way. There might be some things that just throw some sticks in your gears and make things not work.
Sorry.
Oh, well, I guess they're here now.
They're here.
But wait, there's more.
Bad dudes.
So for those of you who were wondering what the Inquisitors were, they are basically proxy bodies for the Skolai and the council. They are
That's
the
cool.
graceless fingers of their far-reaching hand.
Look at them. That's awesome. They're awesome.
They are their tool of choice when they have to basically exert violence or brute force. The Eidolon, on the other hand,
This guy right here.
is significantly more developed, and he is not just a violent manifestation of the Skolai's will, but he is actually
That's awesome.
copying certain ideas
Look at that
and
model.
technologies from certain other people, knowing
good.
that it's possible, allowed the city-states to figure out
Good
a way
detailing in
to
the
let
back. I like the
Skolai
metallic
actually
calves
inhabit
here. Look at the
in
metallic
however
calves.
limited a
That's
fashion,
awesome. Look at that
the
detailing in the
body
back.
of an Eidolon.
Beautiful stuff.
So, well, there you have it. These guys are basically the wait, is it the right hand? No, they're the left hand of the Skolai.
Oh, left hands are sinister.
Yeah, no, I really like that model. I was very, very happy with it. Very, very happy.
One more time for everyone. It goes too fast.
I will say that they are kind of really similar to Spire's aesthetic. When I first saw them on the eShop earlier today, I thought they were new Spires models. Yeah.
Just to say here about the satire, I think now you understand why I said they were gonna get something specifically a rule based on their design, and that is the seal. That's good.
Don't
Cool.
worry, we're not done yet.
But wait, there's more. What else you got, Mr. Daryl?
They've missed so much, but they don't care. They're still coming.
Meat is back on the menu, boys.
Somebody asked on Twitch. I said sealed, so they're gaining sealed.
Drizzt Death has raised his hand. And either he's seeking the restroom or he is actually going to ask a question.
Ask a question.
Yeah, so hi, I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So from my opinion, so it's a question to Stravos. From my opinion, it's they seem a bit out of theme for the city states. So why do they look so different from the normal, very neatly done?
He asked the question on all of our minds.
city states?
Good guy.
Do
Good
you
guy.
notice the difference in the cloaks? The different color that
Yeah.
we used?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's absolutely intentional. The city-states that you traditionally see are the citizens, citizen levies, right? The inquisitors
Okay.
are the normally unseen hand of the Skolai. When you delve into their lore, you're going to find out that basically they are the dark hand of the Skolai, and that's as a result of that, not as much attention has been paid to what they look. Plus, given the way they look, it's easy for people.
I think he's just asking why do these models look like Spire models? You know, it's an aesthetic issue between the armies.
Forces of the city-state.
And I don't think the color of the cloak is irrelevant. Since that's a paint job issue. They're painted purple because, yeah, that's the color of royalty. I get it, but that's not how the models are. The models are blank. You can paint them any color you want.
Comes out, and we see right now, especially with the city states, we only get to see a part, of those forces. Suddenly, when the new model comes in and they expand, right? A lot of people might be left like, oh, that wasn't a theme that I was expecting, but that is because an initial release of an army also kind of allows us only to see so much.
So yeah, if there is more to an army than the initial models, then yeah, fair game. It's so they would understand the quote unquote shock that people like me or the other gentlemen have when we see models in the army not fit the aesthetic of the army. That there is more to the army, true, but we're also a little shocked by it. That's it. We'll get over it in about 10 minutes.
Explanation: they definitely look as if you do not want to meet them.
Oh, whoa!
You do not go on
These are not on the eShop. What are these? Whoa! Hold
so
on.
Here we have the companion cavalry and the Ipercos coming in. Oh, I don't have the schedule in front of me now. January, I believe.
January, you're up.
Why is it called companion
Thank you,
cavalry?
Yeah, when I
Everything
had it
else
up on
has a
screen,
cool
I was like,
name, and they're
I
just
can't
called
look at my
companion cavalry.
So
I didn't know the
yeah,
word
these
companion was
are
Greek.
Running in, Reese, for me on this one.
These are an absolute nod to. I'm not even going to pretend.
Yeah, they're not on here.
I mean, you can even see the lion design on the helmet of the Iparco. This is an absolute nod to the Macedonian companion cavalry and Alexander the Great.
Should
They
give
are
them
not
a Macedonian
your traditional
name.
Heavy cavalry. Okay, this is not a point and click unit, and then whatever stands in the way is obliterated. They need finesse. They definitely need aggression. And I think that they're going to add a fantastic dimension to the city-states proper. I'd love to take credit for the design, but frankly, we went as historical as we could while keeping it within the setting of our world. Some things just have to be paid homage to, or so. Not much more to say about these.
Oh, they're actually called companion cavalry.
Another cavalry.
That's a little boring. So they're medium.
Sealed Temple are coming, and I'll point out that if you already have a Priory commander, there's your commander. If you don't, you'll need one.
That's awesome. Nice.
These two will release in January.
Yep.
So January will be cavalry month.
So what we did with these models was we wanted to definitely include the architectural elements of the temple itself within them. But at the same time,
January.
We also very much wanted to keep their lighter, more graceful, more, they have fluid formation, for crying out loud.
I will say this. I was looking at these horses thinking they're a lot less armored than the Ashen Dawn. They look a lot more graceful. And he just said they're more graceful. These models capture exactly what I would think a graceful 100 Kingdoms cavalry unit would look like. Beautifully done. Beautifully captured.
So I am very happy with them.
Whoa!
And here, just a random change of pace.
Whoa!
Yes, a very big change of pace. And Catherine, I know you're jumping up and down for joy at this moment as you get to see the werewolves, which will arrive.
Hopefully one day the rules will be updated so they don't suck. Because these models are amazing. These guys suffer the troll issue already. Beautiful models, but rules no Nord player wants to really touch.
And then I have the, when it has to be painted by, and then when the files have to be submitted, and when the first plastic needs to be inspected. And I'm like, when does it actually release? I have no idea.
And theoretically, that's my job. But we've been playing
many
juggle the
different
schedule
hats
over the last couple of days.
Look at them.
To make sure that we
That's
are
awesome.
able to hit these dates. So even I'm going like, wait, which one did we settle on?
They seem really muscular for a light regiment.
So
I thought they would be more wiry, more quicker, more swift looking.
To get one and have the luxury of doing some painting. These will be fresh on your table.
Oh, guys, I do want one disclaimer. Oh, come on.
He's got a
companion cavalry
there
that
you
you saw is because of the speed of the update. They are not actually the final production file.
Yes, correct.
Do take that into account.
I give you big ups because when you were talking about the companion cavalry at the bottom over here, you did say these are not the final models. So awesome. Thank you for having that on there. Great.
The city-states that you saw, the Iparco is production file. The other guys are not production. They still have to go through the production process. So they might lose an infinitesimal amount of detail.
I think anyone that is looking at the screen at the moment, though, is overwhelmed by just the beauty of the Nord's army and how it just gets better and better every time. And speaking of better and better, this is our new artisan series for the Nords. They are more standard size.
Whoa, there's a Vargear model.
So
Whoa!
$29.99 and $39.99.
I'm buying that. Done.
respectively, left
Look at
to right
this right here.
retail, so don't
The
get
Nord Jarl, I
terrified
don't
by the
care.
Artisan series.
But the Vargir,
Name, not every Artisan
which is the
series
blood, it's the
$110.
blooded upgraded to run with
These
brutes.
are going to be
Amazing.
highly, highly detailed. A little more money, but I think you can see why.
Yeah, the Jarl sculpt is not really inspiring. It's kind of boring. But the Vargir one's amazing.
Something. Well, beyond the Jarl.
Notice what? Just
there
say
we
it.
Go.
You're going to have to, because I can't see the chat at this moment.
So somebody's saying, what's a Vargir Lord? What's this? And yes, this is actually a new character that is being introduced.
Oh, what?
It's going to allow players to field purely bestial troops. And we thought it would be a fantastic thematic change. I will actually admit that much like
I thought it was just an upgraded blooded.
Or the Ice Yacht, sorry.
What?
Ice Yacht, not yet. I didn't want to confuse you guys. These were originally intended to be a Founders exclusive duel. And then we were just looking at it going like, nope. We can't limit it to just this.
I mean, you could already kind of do it.
They became Artisan series.
Like you could already do
and we just
an all bestial.
Sometimes miniatures just inspire you. And that's basically what happened here.
It's going to just have a different warband than the blooded?
Will come in December with the werewolves.
Because that's just a blooded with the Curse of the Vargir, right?
Well, yes. The Vargir Lord will definitely release with the werewolves. Yes, it would be.
I wonder how that's going to work. Interesting.
A fun holiday.
Interesting.
Yeah. And criminal not to.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, and please.
Yeah, Themis, the Vargir is an amazing model.
Pausing because I cannot see the screen.
The Jarl, the new Jarl model has too much clothing. It's too bulky with clothing for that pose.
This is for Dave Richardson. Hello, Dave.
Spires, Siegebreaker, Behemoth. There we go.
I expect you to chime in. You have to take yourself off mute for this.
There we go.
Still screaming.
Siegebreaker, Behemoth. That thing looks amazing.
And the nice thing is, assembly will be a little easier than the A-bomb.
Oh God!
That's this guy right here.
You can tell.
A heavy monster.
You can tell. Please tell me it's not all for nothing.
Oh, that's the one with Smite. The one that just ignores all defense.
Monster. Just look at the
By the way,
details.
these are full production plastic files. What you're seeing right now is plastic.
Cool.
I've seen it. It's stunning.
Look at that. Brutal Impact 3, Impact 5.
So,
God,
yeah,
dog.
No, it's a beautiful model. For those of you who can...
it's a single monster.
The entire concept is based on...
8 attacks?
If you guys know about the mantis shrimp. These guys are tiny, right? Absolutely tiny little, basically shrimp.
Is he talking about the mantis shrimp?
Punch so hard that they actually cavitate the water. They create empty space behind their tiny, tiny little fists that makes basically my understanding is the pressure as the water collapses again. I don't want to speak out of turn, but basically they punch so hard they cavitate the water, and the shock wave from that cavitation is what knocks out their prey. They have been known to break water tanks despite being like tiny things.
You're correct, but it also creates heat because it hits so fast.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I remember somebody saying it actually makes
the...
plasma, but I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
So no, they are actually
sun.
that damn cool.
They create a small sun in there.
Yes.
Like
so they punch so hard they create a sun. Like
it's the real life Kamehameha.
Yeah, seriously, what the ever living what?
So guys, just real quick, I think he's talking about like the mantis shrimp, right? Can't show history. What? This little guy, see this? It's a little project I'm working on. Mantis Riders Cavalry with a smiting punch. Kind of ironic, huh? Oh, Diego, what is it that you're working on? I don't know. You didn't see anything. Let's go back to the stream here.
This is a just for you to
No,
give you a little
Parabellum.
bit of,
I had the Mantis strip idea
dynamics,
first.
the in-office
No.
dynamics.
And normally I'm not as patient, but I'm being polite.
Stop it.
Normally, I'd be like, all right, let's bring it back together. So let's bring it back together.
Daryl,
But I like
Daryl,
that, though.
Before you move on to the next, I just want to say that when I was talking about a certain faction, I on purpose never mentioned what is coming.
You did a good job, Leo. You did a very good job. And this will be out in November. So this is coming for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And it is, has been talked about, plastic. You'll see it's a big piece. It's not a small piece. This is going to be a 129 retail. But I shouldn't say but, and you are getting just an insane
Correct
amount
usage of the
plastic.
word but/and.
I don't know if you guys can see the torso from where you are, but it literally has eyeballs and eyelids that he's got a series of hands pulling those eyelids apart so that they can see. Anyway, it's
what nightmares are made of. So
Just a regular Friday morning for Spires.
Yep.
and the assembly is yes, it's right.
Oh, sorry. I jumped too fast on that one.
Werewolves, Vargir, Siegebreaker monsters. Yes, yes, Bruce. Yes, absolutely. Dwegom Ironclad Drake. What is this? That's awesome.
Crazy.
So I take it you guys recognize this.
The banners on the side.
Three
Beautiful.
different head designs are coming with this beast.
Beautiful.
And a separate Hold Ray who rides him. And
Love my monster. Hell yeah, brother.
And with some polished rules to come with its new look. And some of you will have noticed that this ray isn't very lightweight, the one that is popped up right now. And of course it's part of Agum it being eternal doesn't matter. You earn your right to have a dragon. Your Drake is going to ride you around even after death. But there might even be a way to have a living ray.
Oh, you broke up with that last piece, Leo. You got to say that again.
Oh, and there is a possibility to play a version of that ray being very much alive on top of that Drake.
Very good.
Yeah,
that dude is dead on that Drake, man.
The riderless version,
that dude is
able to pop him off and
okay. Cool.
Create space for the
space created
for the Hold Ray who will ride it. Do note that he will not be sitting down because no self-respecting Dwegom would be sitting down while marching to war.
That's funny.
And Reese, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a November product as well?
It's a December product.
Oh, it is a December. Okay.
Yeah.
this is how the Dwegom do LC'd. The final scene of LC.
The Japanese anime LC'd, or you're talking about El Cid?
The Last Stand. The
I'm just messing with them.
Founders exclusive with a diorama theme.
Oh, that's cool.
4 resin miniatures. You can see there the Aristarch, the Polemarch, Dorilatus, and the Minotaur.
Cool.
This is taken straight out of childhood memories, I have to be honest. Like it's
like an Iwo Jima, but for the city-states. That's for any of you World War I buffs out there.
There is a little bit of that.
Jolly and mean.
And next we bring you a holiday special. And
okay,
talk a little bit about
that's cute.
Between these two.
Hopefully these are models I can order instead of STLs I have to print on my own.
So I think it was after the Angry Chicken, the Abomination.
The Abomination were just STL files. I want actual models I can order.
Well. And what says holiday season most than in epic battle between two known characters? So our Jolly and Mean narrative scenario pack features our two characters battling over gifts that one has to fight in a tug of war, in a literal almost tug of war, first blood game. We'll see who's going to keep the gifts, who's going to save the day, and who's going to save this festive season.
This is the old catalog. Do they have a new catalog?
And the sword is called the list. Just
I have to get the URL for it.
And maybe in the rules, the sword might be referred to as the list. So
You're so happy with that one.
It's just downloads. Parabellum. Look at this guy, though.
Where did you go, Leo? What happened?
Ho, ho, ho. That guy's awesome.
These scenarios make me very happy. Because it says, people. It's the only time that I can come. I can say all the crazy ideas that would never go through office, and so people will be like, okay. I mean, it's like along with you, it's my season gift that I get. So I get to have that.
JJ, you have a question.
Hello. Yes. Going back a bit, it may have been mentioned. I may have missed it. I apologize if I did. I just want to go over Lord Vargirl there. I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not. Is that Conquest's first actual character model in game? Like
he's asking like a proper noun.
The I have to admit to something that I the usual thing. It's Vargir Lord, not Lord Vargir. So,
okay. All right.
No. Named characters are not coming for a few months. I mean,
a few months.
I don't know
Okay.
when named characters are coming.
So thank you.
Okay, that's cheeky. I like that.
Mute yourself, Stavros.
I know nothing.
Oh my goodness!
I'm just here for the ride. Ignore me.
Yeah, Caleb, this is not a convention exclusive. This will be available on our website and through retail through FLGS. We have had fun with this one, to answer your question, and we want it to be available. But, and I want to preface this, it is, as it notes, a limited edition. We're making it essentially one time. It'll ship at the end of October to be available for November and early December sales.
Awesome.
And that's it.
I'm getting myself a little Santa Claus here. A little Jarl Claus, whatever.
100 Kingdoms versus Spires. Sale Green and Nick Klaus are going to fight it over for who's going to save the day or who's going to destroy the day. Let's see.
Save the day. Be nice. Christmas is the best holiday.
Right,
Save the day.
What is the sword's name, Leo? Sorry, there.
Okay.
Wait until you hear when he switches to his fists. And the fists are named Dancer and Prancer. And this is even better.
And this is why I keep him out of the lore. Okay, if you were wondering, this is why I keep him out of the lore.
All right. Well, before we go completely down
all right.
terrible path, I think
I was trying to think of names that would tattoo well in the fist, but after a point I was like, it doesn't matter anymore.
One little bit that I see a couple of questions regarding the werewolves. People notice that their faces are not traditionally basically lupine werewolves-like. That's because they're technically not werewolves, even though that's what we call them. They're werwargs. And the wargs are a horrible, nightmarish combination of every horrible apex predator the Spires could put together. So there's bat, there's cat, there's bear, there's wolf. So that's why that particular art decision was taken.
Cool.
It's not because we do not know what a wolf looks like. In our defense.
Okay, that was cute.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Nope, he took his hand down. Nope, now he's raised it again. You're on, JOTAD.
I got a question.
Hey, greetings everyone. I have a few questions. One of them is regarding the lore / art book / sketches.
Companion. The compendium.
We are not,
you mean Daryl's pet project?
Nope, shutting that down today.
Oh.
You'll have to tune into another happy hour
Okay.
for that conversation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you said you had a couple questions though.
Yeah. Well, besides that, I loved actually the new miniatures.
So happy hour tomorrow then.
The RPG.
That's
Maybe
funny.
we have a chance of having something nearby. Oh my God! Wink, wink.
Yeah. Tune
Okay.
in to another happy hour coming soon. Weekly happy hour. No, we can't do that. Oh my lord.
No, they want us to die. They just want us to die. It's like, no, we don't care.
Happy to expand our library. Thank you very
We've
much.
been preparing this one for months.
It's all amazing.
Thank you.
Strap
Scott, you
them
have a
to a
question?
strap them to a nuclear reactor and tell them to go.
So, with the discussion of wargs, I noticed that the.
I think you meant a wind turbine, since wind turbines actually explode and kill people. Nuclear reactors don't.
Are wargs typically shapeshifters among the Nords and come in different varieties? Is that what I'm to infer from that?
So
More Leo shorts, please. Yeah, actually, Leo is
you
pretty
actually
dang
get
funny.
the lore with the Vargate of the wargs, the werewolves, however you want to call. You will notice that we are rather imprecise with names in general because we want to link it to myth and to link the whole how unclear things were back in the day. But effectively, much like you have the Ugurs, who are the children whom inherited the Einherjar, they're descendants of the Einherjar, who inherited their strength, their brawn, but not necessarily the full measure of their gifts, not necessarily the full grace and power that made the Einherjar. The Vargate or the werewolves, they are descendants of a particular Einherjar who had the ability to shapeshift. They inherited that ability, but that is only...
The name of the military unit derives from Greek heteroi, those near the king, the heteroi companions. Well, Andy, I mean, I think it'd be much cooler if they just called them, heteroi or something. Like, it's like a naming convention. Like werewolves are cool, but they're very stock. They could have called them werwargs. That would have been awesome, Just writing companions. Because companions also English. Doesn't really take me back to that time. It's like if you just renamed all the Sea States guys just soldiers. My opinion, of course.
Triggering this transformation.
They should hire you, Andy, to name their stuff.
State. Healing wounds in the process, but also consuming a stupendous amount of calories, which is why they're ravenous and all of these clearly rumors of cannibalism and consumption of corpses.
So once again, I will be going over the rules changes after their stream is done. So if you want to get something to eat or drink, we'll be talking for a little longer after this stream is over. Okay?
Reading too much into it, but in the Jolly Mean narrative scenario pack, it says Deist Priest. Are we getting separate rules for that? Because at the moment we only have the Theist Priest.
Oh, somebody spotted it. Well done. No, it is currently just a tongue-in-cheek reference, but yes, the churches are going to be expanded.
All right, that's all I had. Thank you.
Sure. Jotadv. I don't know if I'm supposed to pronounce that any other way, but you're up. I guess maybe he pushed the flight attendant call button without needing peanuts. So we'll go to Dogs of Paint.
Yeah, my bad. This I misclicked.
No worries. Dogs of Paint, you're up.
Good evening. Just a quick question. The Desolation drone?
Huh? That's not me, is it? That's them? I'm still alive, right? Okay, yeah,
right.
that's them.
Can we expect them to arrive in the next couple of months, maybe? Because some more drones would be, yeah.
Not the next couple of months, because this takes us through January. However,
the next couple of months after January, on the other hand, the Spires might be getting some of the DLC they unfortunately were missing for the first 3 quarters of this this year, guys. We apologize. It really is not easy to balance a new release and all the old armies and new releases. So it, we try to avoid it as much as possible. But yes, the Spires will be getting some love coming up.
Okay, thanks, and good evening.
Thank you. Carlos, you're up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations for this mini. These minis are awesome. I really love this game. I have a question about with the addition of Eidolon and the Inquisitors, we will have a new rule for city-states, like a faction rule for them, a sub-faction rule specific for them.
Not yet, but we are definitely building in that direction so that somebody can build an academic, a religious, or a demagogue city-state. We are definitely building in that religion.
Cool.
In that direction. But
cool. Release an Aristotle model for the academic and make it the best one, of course.
3 different channels.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. And Fam, you're up.
Thank you all for good night, but I still have a question.
Please.
I have a question for Bagheera and Hera. Why his status now? Is he dead here or he's falling? So his best inside, like many of his.
Just starting a Nord army from your corruption, or from me corrupting you? Good. It's the best army in the game. Just gotta get good with it, bro.
My meaning of falling is he turning into the best.
Oh, the Vargir. The Vargir Lord, you mean?
Yeah. So why his current status now?
My sound's breaking up.
Yeah, I didn't get that question either.
Your sound isn't breaking up. He was just muted.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you could type it for us and we could get it.
Can you type it for us? It might make it a little bit easier.
Will be a change from playing city-states. Yes, it's a big change. City-states stops your opponent from scoring. Norge needs to score as much as possible.
Can you talk about the 3
loving the new Spires, big and yes, it's a beautiful model
for city-states that also cut out apparently for someone?
Oh, yeah, no, we absolutely intend to be able to field for players.
The Siege Breaker Behemoth.
Big army of the city-states where it's a little bit of everything. But in time, when we have the full armies out, probably with 1 or 2 more units that you guys don't currently see on the army list, it will be possible for us to create basically sub-factions within the city-states that will play in very different styles.
Awesome.
With
I like that.
You know, the Skolai leaning more into the technology, the demagogues leading into like alternating buffs between the, let's call it the bread and human units, and then you would have the religious city-states interacting with.
Has there been new rules updates as well? Yes, quite a few actually, which I will get into after their stream is done. Okay, so just hang out and we'll talk about it because they kind of zipped through it like in 10 minutes and then spent almost a half an hour on the tournament app, which I thought was a little weird. But yes, I'll talk about the rules once their stream is done.
And so the question.
There we go. I think I got Bushido's question or Brushido's question.
Bushido.
We're not going to limit this.
Same Bushido from France. If it is, how you doing, man?
Everybody's going to have sub-faction armies, but
cool.
You need a certain critical mass of models. Otherwise,
correct.
Just the rules feel empty.
Yes, that's correct. And I'm excited to know that they plan on having sub-faction armies for all the different factions.
We stagger our releases in such a way to allow you to do that.
Nice.
but it's
beautiful.
Still going. There's a lot of
cheers.
factions,
We'll hang
so
around
there's
then.
a lot of,
Awesome. Cool.
Holes, and we've got to add the new factions. We just created 2 more factions, by the way. So we're now officially up to 24 factions in the world.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Leo.
24 factions. Wow.
Any plans to do a skirmish mode like old school, more time? So definitely, you're gonna find a lot of league play, a lot of narrative, right in our new pack. And later on, we're gonna be giving a lot of us into specific character into.
Yeah, it's crazy. We have 7 factions out now, and they are planning on coming out with 17 more. 17 more! Holy moly, guys!
Is focused on that. On those,
that's amazing.
10, 11 individuals, right? And each individual.
Now, how you get 24 factions to all play differently on the tabletop, where the game is mostly melee, it's a little beyond me, but we'll see.
And about the First Blood and Last Argument starter sets as to whether you plan on updating those like every year or so as new models come out, or whether those will just be solid for a while.
Nope, there will be new one-player starter sets. I wasn't planning to say that yet, but
whoops,
almost got you there.
There'll be something special.
Keep your mouth shut if it's
at a happy hour.
Company secrets. Quiet, hush, shh.
Gotcha. Keep up the great work, everybody.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Is there a possibility to see Weaver Court models in the future? We believe me, Weaver Courts are definitively in the future. Don't worry, they're not forgotten in any way, shape, or form. Scott, stay tuned next October to the October happy hour where we go into OP season 3.
October happy hour, nice.
With campaign work. And campaigns and OP usually has
next picture.
Terrain. So lots of stuff. I think we're kind of winding down.
No new picture, huh?
45 minutes. You guys have been amazing. Seriously amazing. I cannot thank you enough for sticking through all of the stuff we had to show. That's why we split it into 2. There's too much going on to share with you all in one shot. So thank you.
Well, you guys can have one happy hour a month instead of one happy hour every 4 months. Then they wouldn't be this long.
Very excited to see you all back.
And we get more happy hour.
For those of you in Europe, make sure you go over to Freak Wars if you're in Spain, Hammer Time or Octagon in France, or see us in Essen at Germany. You'll see Hunter at the Crucible in Orlando.
Yep.
At Michigan GT.
You guys will see me at Crucible as well, taking first place in both the doubles and singles tournament.
So yeah,
will I take Nord or Dweg? What do you guys think? Join my Patreon and let me know.
You can't miss the spiel.
Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe to me and hit that like button. Yes.
During the first week of October, you will not know that there's a game.
Let's get to 500 subscribers. Let's do it. We can do it, right? Yeah.
You won't miss it. So,
hold on, Daryl. Quick interruption. The question was typed out. What's the Einherjar Vargir's current status now? Death, missing, or turning into? Vargir was a brother to the Greymane. They both went up north. Only one of them returned. He claims his brother is lost. He's being obnoxiously ambivalent about it.
But
sorry.
Well,
just to clarify. Not that I clarified much. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of lore stuff that we can't give away.
Good. Got it. Don't explain it. Just say they went up. He came back alone. The end. Moving on.
Went up north with his brother.
Yep. Yes. Cool.
And LVO is 24, so I'm not even counting the 2024 scenarios yet, gang. We're just talking still 2023.
Oh, yeah. I'm also going to LVO in Las Vegas, guys.
So,
will I bring Nords or Dweg? Maybe I'll bring Spires. Who knows?
Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you all very, very much.
Cool.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. It's been amazing.
Bye. Tatare. Konnichiwa.
Bye.
Gros Gurut. Or whatever you say in France. I don't know. Okay, anyway. So that's over. Let's go ahead and let me just close this out. So now we're going to go over some rules stuff. Okay, guys? I need a little music in the background while I go over rules stuff. So give me a second while I Where do I have my... Is it here? Oh, there we go. Cool. I'm just going to put a little music in the background real low. And then we'll go over some rule stuff. Might be loud right now. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Good. Okay. So, let's go over the rules changes. Actually, let me timestamp this first. Rules review. Okay, cool. Rules review time. I have to go over into the Discord and grab these things here. There was that one change to Spires that I have not seen anyone post a picture of. I can't grab that one. It's the change to the army rule, so I can't comment on that one. I asked for someone to post a picture of it, and no one's done that. But let's do this Spires change real quick. Okay, and I should be able to pull this up for you guys, right? Okay, cool. No, not that one. That's not the one I want. Hold on. I know how to fix this. We'll get rid of this one. We'll get rid of this one here. There we go. Cool. All right. Hi, Diego. So can't wait for your summary. Well, let's do a little mini summary right now. And this is in front of my face, which is fine. Let's just put this here. All right, cool. So let's run over the Spires changes first. Once again, I don't have access to the Spires army rule change. I know that they're, what is it called? Where they can spend 5 points per stand to raise a regiment's clash or evasion. It no longer raises the evasion. So Spires can't be as defensive as they were before. But that has now been expanded to not only be in the Warlord's regiment, it can now be, or the Warlord's warband, it can now be anywhere in the army, and also includes brutes, the brute drones. So you can now bring the brute No. It was expanded to be in the Mimetic Assassins warband. The brute drones got their own update. So first of all, that first change, I like it. Fighting Spires and dealing with evasion everywhere was annoying. I'm glad that's gone. You guys know my stand on evasion in this game. Get rid of as much evasion as possible. And the game will be much better for it. Stop all this defensive nonsense, right? Just get rid of most of this evasion crap. So that was the first change. Spires got more offensive and less defensive, which is good. The second change, brute drones are now going to be included under the sub-faction that heals all the regiments. So if I can pull this up here for you guys. Actually, I can just do it right in stream, right? Right over here. Let's go over core rules, army list. We're going to go over to the Spires. Boom. So you guys should be able to see this once I update the picture, right? Okay, cool. So it's this rule right here. Okay. The superior creation changed. You see how it brings the evasion and clash by 1? The evasion part is now gone. But this is no longer restricted to the Warlord's warband. You can now spread it out throughout the army. So you can make the army's regiments more offensive. Which is amazing. Amazing. I like that. Really good. That was the first change. Real positive change. Real good. The other change was to the actual army rule. Where the Underspire. So the Underspire currently says, while the Warlords on the battlefield, all Force-grown drones, Onslaught drones, and Strix regiments gain Regeneration 4. The Brute drones are now included on this, which is great, because whenever I make a Spires list, the Brute drones are the ones I throw in the trash. They're restricted, they're horrible, who cares about Brute drones? But now you could actually have Brute drones that have Regenerate 4, which is pretty dang good. I like that. I can see now regiments of 4 or 5 brute drones running around being a complete menace in the game. That's the second change. That change is pretty good. The third change to Spires is the Desolation drones. I got this little rules update here. If I could zoom in. It's a little fuzzy, but they have this new rule. At the end of this regiment's barrage... Wait, what? Barrage? At the end of this regiment's barrage, after defense rolls have been made and any wounds have been allocated by the target enemy regiment, that enemy regiment suffers -1 to its defense characteristic until the end of the round. Okay, cool. So the Desolation drones, they fire 12 inches into an enemy regiment and brings their defense characteristics down. This is a good change. Do you guys know why this is good? Because in Conquest, whenever you have whenever you have support or defensive buffs, they eat up activations. The only time you want to use spells and buffs are when you draw the card for a regiment and then it does something that affects the enemy immediately. This is awesome. This is basically a support spell that goes off during the Desolation drone's barrage activation. So it's not like you have to draw the Desolation drones and they don't do anything. Then they use an ability to bring your opponent's defense down. That sucks. The Desolation drone can now just shoot the enemy as a normal offensive barrage action, right? A volley action, and then affect the enemy. That's amazing. That's going to be an unnoticed change for a lot of Spires players out there. They're gonna overlook this, and this is going to be really good. I know the range is only 12 inches, but armor piercing 1, deadly shot, right? They activate, do a couple of wounds, and now that regiment's defense is down by 1. Awesome. I like that. Is it worth 170 points? I don't know. That range of 12 is a little limiting. I would have liked it to have been range 14, personally. But this is a good step in the right direction when it comes to Conquest, to making support abilities, support effects useful in the game. All right. The other change I saw was one of the characters, a Ferromancer or somebody, got this ability basically as an AoE around the regiment. So when that character activates, all enemy regiments around the character's regiment or character stand gets this -1 defensive buff, which is actually kind of cool. Okay? Because it affects more than one regiment. So those are the Spires changes. Overall, I like the Spire changes a lot. I'm already leaning into making an under Spires army. And now I might have to... All the trades I did over the past couple of weeks where I told people I don't want their brute drones, I'm going to have to ask for their brute drones. Okay, so that's those are the Spire changes. Let's look over the Dweg changes. All right. So as far as Dweg changes are concerned, I have them here. Okay. From what I remember, okay, Dweg, if a regiment does not have... Oh, hold on. You know, I could do this. I could do whatever I want. I do whatever I want. We can just pop this up right here. Close this. Sorry, close this. Okay, cool. So, any Dweg regiment that has Bastion in any rules form is being changed. And one of the changes I heard was that regiment will just get hardened as a replacement. Okay? So if you have a Dweg regiment that has a draw event for Bastion, that regiment should now just get hardened 1. So let's say you have a Dweg regiment that's defense 3 with Bastion to make them defense 4. The regiment will now be defense 3 and just have hardened 1, which I think is great. Why? Once again, I hope Parabellum is listening. I hope they get this idea. Support and defensive spells and abilities suck in this game. They suck. I know this was in an effort to make Dweg defenses lower, but ironically, this actually buffs the Dweg defense against cleave. Okay? You don't have to activate the regiment to get a buff anymore. It now just always has some sort of defensive buff on it. Okay? The rules are on the Dweg Discord channel. Yes, but not the army changes. They just have tempered, Herald of Magma, Herald of Fire. Unless they didn't put this rule up there yet. So that's that change, which is actually a Dweg buff. And that's kind of like a joke going on in my area, is that whenever Dweg get nerfs, they get buffs. Like when spells got nerfed from 1.5 to 2.0, Dweg spellcasting just got better. This actually will now improve Dweg defenses, which is fine. Why? Because Dweg now have no defense above 4. Correct. So that means if you're looking at a Dweg regiment that has a defense of 5, like the Steel Forged, their defenses are now dropping down to a 4. They didn't say if that's going to be plus a shield. I don't know. I don't know if there are any current Dweg regiments that are defense 4 plus a shield is 5, but I'm assuming all Dweg defenses, I'm assuming plus a shield will be capped at 4, which is fine. I think defense 5 in this game is kind of absurd. I'm glad that defense is going down, right? But once again, Dweg defense is going down by 1 for its highly defensive units, but their activation for Bastion is now going to be a permanent change to the regiment. So they got a nerf to their defense and a buff to their defense at the same time, which I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm saying that as we need to play it and see what happens. I think it's a fine change. I think Leandros, I forget who it was, mentioned that there was a cleave arms race in the game. That because one regiment gets cleave, another regiment gets hardened, so then another regiment gets cleave too, so then more regiments get hardened. I get that. It's the Dragon Ball Z effect. Every episode you have to have a better enemy, so then you need a better hero to beat the enemy. I get it. We all get this, right? Funny enough, though, if Bastion is going away and Dweg are getting cleave, basically built into a lot of regiments. For example, like Initiates. Initiates are a good example of a regiment that has Bastion. They may now have hardened. And when you now have hardened everywhere, you're going to want more cleave to beat that hardened. It's kind of ironic, right? So am I positive or negative on the Dweg changes for the army rules? Right now, I'm neutral until I get some testing done with it. I'm neutral. Not positive or negative on it. Okay? Neutral. Let's look at some other Dweg rules changes. These are the ones that are in Discord. Thank you for pointing out. Okay. Come on. There we go. Let's pop up this little picture over here. There we go. And let's hop in over here. Bruh. There we go. Oh, okay. The Tempered Sorcerer and Tempered Sorcerer's Fire and Earth schools got these following changes. Coruscation got nerfed down to range 14. Good. Good. I just played a game over at the Collective in Orlando where I took a caster, and 16-inch coruscation is nutty. So it's a good change right there. Flame Wall inflicts 1 hit per success on target enemy regiment. Cool. If at least 3 successes are scored, target enemy's regiment cannot gain the inspired special rule as a result of a successful charge until the end of turn. I like this change. Why? It gives a debuff to an enemy through an offensive activation. This is why no one takes the Earth School, which we'll get into in a second. In Conquest, when you pick up a card off your command deck, it needs to do something right there. Impactful. which usually means charging or destroying the enemy or moving. Okay? If you play Magic the Gathering, it's the same principle. When you play a card in that game, if the card sits there for a turn and it comes back to you, it's pretty much worthless. The card needs to make an impact when it comes into play. Okay? Conquest is the exact same. So that's why you rarely ever see defensive spells or support spells used ever. Okay? Which is why I believe it's the Biomancer and Spires is the real good one. Because the Biomancer just activates, right? The Biomancer, you pick up his card, and he can do a thing. He can duel, he can seek new escort, he can do things, right? And then he can also do abilities that are free. They don't cost activation. Which is why the Biomancer is amazing, right? Like, you don't spend an activation to heal. The Biomancer just does his thing and then heals extra. So hopefully you guys get the point of what I'm trying to say, right? Flame Wall debuffs the enemy through an offensive action, which is great. Now keep in mind, target enemy regiment cannot gain the Inspire special rule as a result of a successful charge until the end of the round. That means that if a regiment is already in combat, they can take the in-combat action of Inspired and still be affected by it. I would have liked it if Flame Wall just said, target regiment cannot be affected by the Inspired rule. Flat out. Why? Because the range is 8. You're already real close to your opponent. It's not much charging going on. Okay? So I predict Flame Wall is not going to be used anymore. It's just a dead spell. As a matter of fact, I now see the caster, if you take him as a warlord, as not as effective as before. Having him cast 2 spells. The reason why you wanted him to cast 2 spells was you want him to have something plus Flame Wall. That's it. Something plus Flame Wall. Now you can do Coruscation plus Fireball, which is good, but now you're within 14 inches. And that was better when you had to turn the tide, but you don't have to turn the tide anymore. So, Dweg Magic did take a hefty nerf. A hefty nerf. Does that mean that Dweg Magic is worthless? No, far from it. Their spells are still really good. Fireball is still really good. Ironically, Fireball gives you armor piercing. Not good against Dweg, hardened everywhere. Kind of funny. But Coruscation will be fine because of his attunement 4. Let's go over to Earth School. Can we play with support spells finally in this game? I don't know. I don't know the changes. Roots of Stone, 10 inches. Target regiment that has not activated yet this round receives +2 defense but cannot perform a march, charge, reform, combat reform, withdraw action. Basically, you either cast this on your own regiment to be defensive, like you're going to take the charge, or you cast it on an opponent's regiment. And then they really can't do anything. They just sit there. Borderline. Maybe if it was range 12, I would take it. Borderline. Because once again, if you and I are playing, we roll for supremacy. And I have my Tempered Sorcerer on top. And you have the regiment you want to charge me on top. And you're within 10 inches, right? Or with that, right? Because you have to be within 10 inches for this spell to affect you. I have to beat you. If I don't, you charge in and do your damage, right? Then I draw my card. I now have a Earth School Tempered Sorcerer. What can I cast? Cannot perform impact attacks? Doesn't matter. You've already charged. You cannot do anything due to Roots of Stones? Doesn't matter. You're already charged. Target regiment gains a Tenacious special rule. I can now give it to somebody else. Who cares about Tenacious? But Earth School, still not good. Don't take it. Don't bother taking it. Do not take support spells in this game. Don't do it. It'll kill your activations. And then you may think, but Diego, if you win the supremacy, you destroy one of their activations. True, but it's not guaranteed. See, the other guy charging you is 100% always going to happen when he draws his card. He's banking on charging you. You can't stop it. You, on the other hand, have to be in this you have to list build this guy into your list, which affects your whole army. Then you have to be in that situation where a enemy regiment is within 10 inches and you beat him in the supremacy roll. And if you've played this game more than once, you know that you cannot build your army around the idea of winning the supremacy roll. Don't do it. You have to mitigate as much randomness and risk as you can from war games. You play the game as if you're going to go second, and your army will work 100% of the time. Like in AOS, when you have the double turn, you play as if you never get the double turn, which I won't get into here. So, Earth School will it be taken? No. If this was range 18, I would then take an Earth School. This should be like range 18. If you guys are listening, Leandros, make this range 18. Defensive spells or support spells that mess the enemy, debuffing spells, they need to have incredible range. Like the Shaman for Nords. They have an ability that stops you from shooting or charging, unless you're within 12 inches. 20-inch range, and it still doesn't get cast. But it's the only debuffing spell in the game I consider taking that eats an activation because the range is so far away. Anyway, that's that change. Let me know what you guys think in the chat if you disagree or agree with me. Let's go over to the next change here. Magma. We're now going to move over to the Magma School. Magma. Everything got changed here. So let's go over some Magma stuff. Okay. Eruption, 8 inches. Did that get nerfed? I don't know. Target piece of terrain. Okay. I know they don't mean, I'll stop doing conjectures. Target piece of zonal or garrison terrain counts as erupting until the end of the spellcaster's next activation. Yes! I know they standardize spells to always end at the end of the round, but that's what makes a lot of debuffing or buffing spells worthless, is that they go away at the end of the round. I wish spells that debuffed or buffed stayed until an end of an activation. That would be great. Like it used to be. I think it was like that at 1.5. All stands currently within the target piece zone terrain suffer 1 hit with armor piercing 1 special rule. These hits are treated as being inflicted to the flank of the regiment. All stands currently occupying the target piece of garrison. No one plays with garrison. I know they're never going to get rid of garrison in this game, but as an army builder, when you build your army, play this game, ignore garrison stuff. It doesn't exist, right? So basically, you have to be within 8 inches of an enemy regiment with stands in zonal terrain. So I cast this spell. I hit your regiment. Let's say your regiment has 3 stands. You get hit with 3 hits. So if I roll, let's say like 7 dice to do hits on you, right? I need 2 successes. This spell succeeds. You only take 3. I'd rather take a Fire School and hit you from 14 inches away. So this spell is already dead on arrival. I don't know why it's... Okay. The terrain counts as erupting. All stands within. But it doesn't say like when it triggers. Like when do you do the hits? When the spell is cast? When a regiment moves and ends its movement? That needs to be put into the spell. All stands that end their movement or all stands that end their activation within... I'm sorry. Any regiment that ends their activation within within an erupting terrain takes 1 hit per stand. It should be 2 hits per stand. So currently this spell doesn't even work. There's no trigger for the spell. Maybe campaigns will have more garrison stuff? No. Okay. If people are not familiar with garrisons, you're gonna when you're new to the game, you're gonna test it out and you're gonna go, wow, garrisons are interesting until you realized garrisons are just buffs for ranged stuff. The only thing that goes in a garrison that matters are volley units and units that cast spells. That's it. And then once you have a game where I stick my bow chosen in a garrison, you don't play me again. Or you say, I don't play with garrison anymore. Garrison's just not good for the game. Okay? It's just not good for the game. So Eruption's not good. So first of all, Eruption doesn't work. And second of all, it only does 3 hits on most regiments in the game. Because most regiments are minimum 3 stands. So forget about Eruption. Once again, this spell's range. This spell's range, I'll tell you right now, can be 20. And I still wouldn't take it. For only 3 hits on most things. Because the size of terrain is also 6x9. I don't have it with me here, but the terrain's not that big in this game. You never see competitive or professional players with a block of 12 stands inside of a 9x6 terrain. That never happens. So don't bother with Eruption. It's not going to happen. Magmatic Seep. Let's see if this one's worth taking. Nominate a point on the battlefield within range, even one beneath a regiment. Cool. The area within 3 inches of this marker counts as a piece of erupting zonal terrain. The terrain feature remains until the round. Oh, so you basically... You cast Eruption? Eruption targets terrain. Magmatic Seep, in a sense, creates terrain somewhere on the table. So you have 2 effects. Sorry to say this, poopy. I'm trying not to curse. 2 poopy effects. My brain immediately goes to making the... But the Tempered Sorcerer can't cast 2 spells at once, right? That's only a... The other caster, right? Is that how that works? So a Tempered Sorcerer can only ever cast 1 spell a round, right? So I have an 8-inch version of the spell and a 10-inch version of the spell. Yuck. Not to be rude, but did they test this? There must have been no testing going on here. Because you can give me a Tempered Sorcerer, okay? That can cast 2 spells around. Both Magmatic Seep and Eruption can be 20 inches, so I can cast them both. I still wouldn't take them. I would still take the Fire School with the 14 inches. Because on average, dealing 3 hits to a regiment does nothing. No one cares. Pyroclast. Inflicts 5 hits on target enemy regiment. These hits have the armor-piercing 1 special rule. This spell may target an enemy regiment within 5 inches of an erupting piece zone terrain, regardless of the spell's range or the spellcaster's line of sight. Okay. All right. I get what they're going on with here. Okay, let's do this. See this right here? That's the battlefield. My regiment right over here, that's containing this Steel Shaper, is over here. Okay, cool. Now, Eruption and Magmatic Seep are only 8 and 10 inches, so they can be cast, let's say, right over here, right? Cool. Pyroclast lets you cast in this area anywhere on the table. But the dude that cast it is right here. I know what you're thinking. Diego, take a second caster. So now I'm going to trap a player into taking another caster. Another caster over here. Just so he can cast Pyroclast at any range. So basically, Pyroclast... Oh my god. These combos are with really crappy spells. None of this is good. None of this is good. You're already doing way too much army building and combo crap with crappy spells. Avoid Magma School at all costs. Test it with your friends, play it a couple of times. Just try it out. Then you're going to realize, wow, I just took a regiment of dwarves, a regiment of Dweg with a steel shaper close to the enemy or close to where I want to put magmatic seep. Now I have another activation across the table to do damage in that spot. You know what my opponent's going to do? Not go in that area. Okay? And so you might be thinking, but that's a good way to make sure enemy regiments are not on top of terrain that are on top of objective markers or objective zones. Like it's a deterrent, right? Keep in mind, Eruption and Magmatic Seep will hit your own Dweg regiments. Now, Pyroclast only hits enemy regiments, but it's only 5 hits. Whatever. I'm still going to take Fire School on 2 casters. 1 can double cast. The end. That's it. I mean, I appreciate they're trying to make these spells more fluffy. I get it. But the ranges are too short and the effects are too weak. Remove the 1 hit per stand. You know what? I'm not going to sit here and even pretend to waste your time on balancing the spells. Currently, the Magma School and the Earth School, they're just unusable. Just don't do it. Stick with Fire School if you want to win your games, right? So let's move on to more Dweg stuff. Herald of Fire, Herald of Magma, Herald of Stone. Let me know if you guys disagree or agree with me in chat. And if you disagree with me, don't worry. I'm not like... Yeah, I'm not going to like ban you or anything. Just tell me how you feel, right? There's no echo chamber here. Herald of Fire. While this officer is present, this regiment adds +1 to its attack's characteristic. A temperate sorcerer's School of Fire spells may target enemy regiment. This regiment is currently in contact to be the target of spells regardless of spell's range or the spellcaster's line of sight, I guess. It's not a big change there. There's like this edge case where combat's like this, and for some reason my caster is over here, and my line of sight, I can't see you to hit. I've actually seen that happen once or twice before. The Herald of Magma basically adds +1 to the attack characteristic to the regiment, which is nice. I like that. Herald of Magma. While this officer is present, this regiment gains the Aura of Death 2 special rule. Do they do that already? I don't know, but that's pretty cool. In addition, pieces of zonal garrison terrain this regiment is currently within or currently occupying counts as erupting. This regiment does not take hits as a result from spells from the School of Magma cast from a friendly character stand. This is also interesting. Read this carefully. In addition, pieces of zonal or garrison terrain this regiment is currently within or currently occupying counts as erupting. This regiment does not take hits as a result of a spell from the School of Magma cast from a friendly character stand. Awesome. I'm just curious here. It's still worthless. Sorry, I'm sorry to be so negative, but just being honest. Now you have to occupy some terrain with a regiment, so it counts as erupting, and so the enemy charges into you for it to like... There's too much going on here. Too much chicanery for just a couple of hits that are not worth it. In every case you find yourself in, you'd rather just cast fire spells. It's just that easy. Herald of Stone. While this officer is present, this regiment gains Harden +1 special rule to maximum Harden 1. I would take Herald of Stone. Done. Why? I don't have to activate the regiment to do something. There's no weird combo stuff where the Herald of Stone has to, be in terrain. He just gets it. Herald of Fire, I'll take it for offensive. Herald of Stone, I'll take it for defensive. And Herald of Magma, I'll take it just for the Aura of Death. Forget the eruption stuff. As far as Dweg are concerned, the eruption stuff doesn't exist. Don't fall into that trap. It's like dueling in this game. Don't do it. It's a trap. What are the Dweg stuff we got here? The Tempered Steel Shaper went down or went up points. I can't really tell. And that's all the changes I saw. So that's the Dweg stuff. Dweg changes all around. Let me mull on that for a second. Defensive stuff got shifted around, so I think Dweg are still kind of even. Okay? Because true, they lost defense, but now Harden is going to be everywhere. So all my Cleave 2 Nord stuff is now Cleave 1. So testing is going to be required for me to give a better opinion on this. As far as their spell changes are concerned, Dweg's spell has gotten weakened, which is good, because Dweg's spell casting is just ridiculous. Okay? Flame Wall got removed from the game. Don't bother with Flame Wall. And the Herald and the Schools of Magma and Earth are still kind of weird. Don't take them. Just don't bother. It would be nice if those spells would affect an enemy regiment to do something, and then as a side effect, it would then affect a friendly regiment to do something. That's my opinion on how to fix support or defensive spells. Anyway, that's Dweg stuff. Moving on to Nord stuff. All right, let's go do some Nord stuff. Some Nordry stuff. Okay. Nords got 3 changes, which I actually didn't read during the stream. I didn't have a chance to read them. And what I was told is that all 3 of these abilities are active at the same time. So it's not like you pick one of these abilities, okay? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Oh, good lord, really? Are the sizes really that small? Give me a second while I try to finagle a larger picture. Just give me a second, guys. Once again, let me know in chat what you think about the Dweg and or Spire changes. Oh, I can just do that. Okay, and then I can just zoom in, right? Nope. There we go. All right. Ice, Flesh, and Blood. Medium and heavy regiments from this army charging through a piece of hindering terrain can benefit from the inspired special rule. I mean, that's obviously a buff. Okay. In addition, all regiments in this army do not suffer penalties when at least half of their total stands are within a piece of water terrain. What? Furthermore, all regiments in this army suffer half wounds as a result of zonal terrain special rules. Okay, that water change is huge. To be fair, whenever I charged through hindering terrain and I lost inspiring, I never once thought, I wish I didn't. Like, that was never part of my Nord issue, okay? Am I complaining about this? No, because it's a buff. All right? The water one is huge. That one's pretty damn strong. I know some of you guys at my store are watching the stream right now. Jason, Tree Monkey, how you guys doing? Are you watching this? We play player place terrain. Guess where I'm sticking all the hindering and water terrain? Right on top of zones and markers. Okay, so this is an overt buff to Nords. Holy moly. If this was the only change Nords got, I'd be happy 100%. 100%. But we got 2 more changes. Okay? Look, I'm all happy and giddy. I'm actually turning bright red over here. This is actually huge. 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 As my wife said, huge. All right, let's check this sucker out here. Okay, what's this change here? Prophecy unfulfilled. All right. While an enemy regiment is currently engaged by a friendly regiment, other non-monster friendly regiments add plus to their charge distance when charging that enemy regiment. Okay, we're gonna. I don't want to spend an hour on this, but you guys see. You guys see the stack of berserks I have? Right? You guys see this? And I have another one I put together. I stopped putting these guys together until today. because I didn't know if Berserks. Oh, it's Berserks or Ufnadir. I didn't know if they're going to change their rules, right? Their rules just got changed. Mwah. So what might you be inquiring to there, Diego? Okay. So I have a list here. Let's go over to the list. I hope you guys are having fun with this, right? Let's go ahead and log in. Bam, right? Let's go ahead and hop on in. Go to my list. Hopefully I don't have any dirty words here. Doesn't look like I do. Rating Giants. Oh no, it's Bloodlust and Pure. Here's my list, right? Shaman with Raider, Berserk. Shaman, Raider, Berserk. Jarl, Raider, Berserk. Okay? So this is my list of 6 Mountain Jotnars and 6 Raiders, but just with Berserks. So now I have to go. I have to do this, guys. I have to do this. I'm all giddy. See how I'm also giddy? So keep in mind, guys, I play Dweg as well now. I'm a Dweg ho, as the ladies say, right? Yeah, my wife said no, they don't. Yeah, they do. I'm a Dweg ho, and I'm fine with the changes. I don't care that the other 2 schools didn't get stronger. I just wanted Dweg Magic to get nerfed, and it did. Thank you. So I'm happy with Dweg. Dweg is good. Let's hop into, let's say, this picture here. And do I have Photoshop on here? No, I don't. I guess I can just go with display capture. Yep, cool. All right, now, and my pen here is not working, is it? Let's see if I get my pen to work. Oh, the battery died because I left it on all night. Darn. Heather, can you get me a AAA battery? They're in the office. A AAA battery. Please. Oh, we're out? Okay, so I'll use my mouse for this. So, let's say this... Oh, God. It's already starting. Let's say this blue regiment is an enemy regiment, okay? And this red regiment here, they're my raiders, okay? So my raiders are now engaged with the blue regiment, okay? Easy to do. I have like 4, 5, 6 raiders running around the board by round 3 anyway, right? Real easy to do, okay? Oh, thank you, sweetie. Cool. My Berserks. Okay? My Berserks have 5-inch movement, right? Cool. A standard bearer. So 2 activations, 11-inch movement, right? Cool. With the Shaman's Supremacy, they get Vanguard. So they get a 3rd movement action. So my Berserks will move... Let's see here. We're going to go with... actually, let me put the battery in here. So let's see if this works. Is my battery upside down? Probably. I don't know. Anyway, I'll use this. Easy to do. Why can I not? Oh, is it locked? Yeah, it's locked. Okay, cool. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, there we go. Cool. We can draw in here? Yeah, we can. All right. So my Berserks are now going to come off the edge of the table, the reinforcement line, right? Remember, your reinforcement zone is the table edge that you deployed from in round 1, and the line that moves up, that whole table edge, it really doesn't have a name. It's just called the reinforcement line. So my Berserks are now going to Vanguard 5 inches, right? Or move 5 inches. Then they're going to move another 5. Hopefully they pass their resolve test, of course. But they have a banner. So they're going to move 6 inches. Right? Beautiful. My 3rd action is now a charge. They have a charge of 5. But now, because the raiders are touching the enemy regiment, my charge is not a 5. My charge is a 7. That's insane. The only thing that has stopped me from switching over from Mountain Jotnars to Berserks is because Mountain Jotnars are base March 7, so they can basically go 21 inches when they come on the board. Berserks can now move, what is that, like, was that 18 inches? Not including the charge range? Because unlike a Mountain Jotnar, Berserks can charge because of Bloodlust. And because they have a banner, they're unstoppable. Bro. They almost have the same movement as a mountain giant, and they can charge. They're expensive, and you have to, you know what I like about this? You have to work for this. It's not like just Berserks. It's not like Raiders. You pay 10 points or 15 points, and they get a +2 to their charge. No. This is awesome combo stuff. I like this. You have to have the regiment touch an enemy regiment, so Berserks can now get a bonus. It's like they're raiding a town together. The raiders go in first, get into combat with the villagers, the enemy Wadrun or whatever, the enemy 100 Kingdom, just eating and doing laundry in the morning. And they're like, hey, Berserks, we got someone here for you. Like holding them like a full Nelson. And the Berserks see them and they run across the town and like, we're going to eat you up now. That's awesome. Because I don't just pay points and get this. I have to work for this. And if any of you play Nords, you know you have to work for your wins. It's a little masochistic, but I like this. I'm now putting together my Berserks. Now, I wonder if my oofs are worth taking. I'll think about that later. But as far as rules changes goes, this is an awesome change. I'm loving it. Okay, let's go with the second change for our homies here. I'm sorry, the third change. Good Lord, we got 3 changes? What's the other one? We got another one? That's crazy. All right. What's this one even say? I don't even know what they say. Whoops. Blood of the Einhar. Oh, they updated Blood of the Einhar. Oh, I think this is just the... There's no red here. It got changed, though. Oh, yeah, okay. These are new rules, which is why I don't see them in red. But the blood should actually be in red, I guess, because it's a current rules change. Okay, Blood of the Einhar. While an infantry or brute regiment in your army has any non-character wounded stands or is missing stands as a result, the regiment adds +1 to their attack characteristics. Cool. It's what they had before. In addition, when a character stand in this army participates in a duel action and destroys an enemy character stand, the enemy regiment the destroyed character stand was currently attached to immediately becomes broken. If the regiment was already broken prior to a duel action, it becomes shattered instead. I mean, my problem with this is you don't duel in this game. Everyone I fight against, they just ignore the duel because they have like a rule, like born in the saddle or whatever the Wadrun have. You're like on a beast, you just don't get dueled. If you're OD, you have bodyguards, you don't get dueled. Like everyone has a way of ignoring duels. And the armies that you're going to duel are so pathetic anyway that they just deny it. Or you don't, like I don't plan on trying to kill a theist priest or an imperial officer or a vulva. Like I don't plan on that stuff. He did mention in the stream maybe there was a change to the ability to like force duels. I don't know. Maybe I misheard it. That's 100% misremembering / rumor. I don't know. But this is a nerf to Blood of the Einhar. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is a nerf, but didn't you get two other cool ass rules? Yes. Why? The second part of the Blood of the Einhar never really mattered because, oh no. I just realized where the big nerf came from. My Mountain Jotnars got nerfed. No longer get Flurry. The regiments not getting Flurry anymore didn't bother me because half the regiments have Flurry anyway. But the Mountain Jotnar just got a nerf. Because the Mountain Jotnar will no longer reroll misses in combat against the enemy. Shoot. Okay, keeping that in mind, that's a skill issue on my part. It just means the army got restructured. Okay? Mountain Jotunars lost their flurry on half wounds. Yes, they did. Yep. Which I think is okay. Because I've been blowing players up with 6 Mountain Jotunars. They may have been a little too strong. And if that was an unintended nerf from Parabellum, which I think was unintended, because they probably didn't know how crazy 6 Jotunars was, I'm fine with that. Especially now, since Jotunars can just run through terrain and not give a hoot about losing Inspired or losing Clash because of being in water. So Nords now get rewarded more for terrain placement and using terrain. Unfortunately, the monsters do not get the Prophecy Unfulfilled bonus. Funny enough, I could lock someone up with a Mountain Jotnar that gives someone else a charge into the regiment. Overall, guys, Nords got massive buffs. Here is the caveat, though. Here is the caveat. I'll get to you in a second, Cody. Here's the caveat. Nords is still a paper-thin, weak AF army to play, and it's still going to be tough for new players. If any new players have gotten this far, or if any of you out there know any new Nord players, get them to this video and bring them to this timestamp, 2 hours, 43 minutes in. Keep playing the army. Don't quit. Because when you are good with Nords, nobody's going to beat you. Nobody. Right? Nobody locally I know can beat me. Because once you hone the perfect Nord army, it's near unbeatable in its current state. Now, that does include Mountain Jotunars with re-rolling hits, but, it's a big but. With these changes, I think high-end Nord players got stronger. Okay? This is not going to be forgiving for newer players. You may think as a new player, cool, now I can just go into terrain and do whatever I want. No, because if you get charged by an enemy regiment, your regiment is still dead. Nords are still paper thin. And our offensive output didn't necessarily go up any, okay? It's like Dweg defense. The Dweg defense didn't necessarily get weaker. It just kind of like got shifted around. It was a side grade. Nord offense is a side grade. In my opinion, the Nord changes are a rich get richer kind of Marxist idea, which I don't believe in, of course. But I'm just trying to correlate to my audience out there. Most of you are socialist scum. But if you're really good with Nords, you just now got better. And if you're learning with Nords, then the army is still hard to learn with. But stick with playing the army. My local Dweg player, Jason, who is really good with Dweg, got into Nords and hated them at first. Now he loves playing Nords. He doesn't lose games anymore. He loves Nords. Nords is that army that when you win with it, you know you won it because of skill, not because the army made up for your issues, your tactical mistakes, right? Not to beat a dead Dweg into the ground, but it's not a beginner's army like Dweg or OD. Okay? Yeah, it's just a nerf to mountains. Spiteful Revenge just says they still benefit from blood. Yep, so you get +1. Whatever. I can live with it. I can live with that easily. I think they are less reliable now because they will occur less often, so it's more like a debuff to new players. Yes. Now Nords got harder to learn because to benefit from Prophecy Unfulfilled, you now have to do a combo. Get a regiment to charge a regiment, and then get another regiment to get that +2 to charge. It's almost like Wadrun, where it rewards you for building your chance for combos, but harder. And as a masochist, which I'm not, but as a Conquest, if you're in Nords, you have to be in the wargaming psychology. You like to be punished you're going to like Nords even more. You like being punished. For some reason, we're the whipping boys of the Conquest world. So I'm all smiles now, guys. I'm going to absolutely terrorize my local players with all my Berserks. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have so much fun doing that. But if you're a new player, stick with it. Stick with it. Okay? I think those are all the changes that I could/wanted to go over. So what are my thoughts overall? Now, there's the new models, the Vagar Lord and werewolves and stuff. My opinions, which I kind of said during the stream, like in a Discord where werewolves and rules still suck, etc., etc. With the changes to the Nord rules here, werewolves might be great again. I don't know. Thanks to Parabellum, I gotta do more testing. So, Ice, Flesh, and Blood, awesome. This is a huge buff to Nords. Prophecy Unfulfilled, awesome. This will reward players that like combo stuff. And you really want to get your bloodlusted regiments into combat, you better get those white waste tribesmen / raiders up in someone's grill to do it. Okay? This ooh, hold on. If you can slam Fenrir into an important enemy regiment because of the Fenrir's 7 March, then you can do Prophecy Unfulfilled. I'm already thinking about all these little combo stuff. Prophecy Fulfilled, awesome. And Blood of the Einhar is a nerf. Sorry not to be too negative. No one cares about dueling in this game. There's just too many ways to ignore duels. Parabellum. Have regiments be able to, or have characters be able to deny a duel as normal. But every rule in the game that some dude gets an upgrade to just say no to duels, get rid of them. Get them all out of the game. Get them out of the game. Right? Just get them out of there. Stop with the OD refusing duels, Dweg bodyguards, or if they even have it, refusing duels, riding beasts and stuff. I guess that would still have to be the exception. If you're a dude mounted on a beast, you would have to be immune to duels, because then I could just duel the guy on top of the beast, on top of the apex predator, or on top of the drake, and then kill him, and then what? The beast is now alone walking around. You didn't take it for its stupid rules. But bodyguards, all that stuff, just get him out of the game. Get him out of there. Make duels great again. Or you know what? Give Nords an upgrade. As long as this character has this rule, bodyguards, such and such, cannot be used, and duels can't be refused. Because dueling is an aspect of the game that is completely ignored. Because you can just refuse it. Imagine if you built an army around volleying. I'm going to volley you, Diego, and I go, no, I refuse it. I just break my regiment instead of taking your 30 slinger shots. It's stupid, right? I want to make dueling builds, but I can't. It's too unpredictable. What do you think of them adding a new character to the Nords? Interestingly enough, if I go over here, let's see. We're going to prepare for war. We're going to go to Nords, right? Go to war. Cool. Let's say I take the Blooded. I already have lists where Blooded already has Ogres, and then you have a bunch of beasts over here, right? I don't know. Fenrir. Cool, right? I always figured the Blooded with the curse of the Vegir or whatever, he was like that beast guy, the Vagar Lord. He would then hang out with all beasts, right? But the Vagar Lord sort of now is more bestial than the Blooded. In my opinion, and they didn't talk about this, they would have to reorganize the Blooded regiment and the bestial the Vagar Lord regiment. Because right now the Blooded has all this cool beast stuff, but then what's the point of the Vagar Lord if the Blooded already has all this? A lot of this stuff would have to go in the troops, right? Which means the Blooded's going to be changed. Leandros did mention a change to Huskarls. He flat out said what it was. I forgot what it was because someone asked the question, what about this miserable thing? The Vulva Warband, which is completely miserable and worthless. The only thing you do with the Vulva is this. You take Valkyrie's Vulva, that's it, done. You don't take anything else. You don't even take a second one. Completely worthless. You don't do that. Right? So he said the Vulva Warband's not changing. It's staying the way it is. Okay, cool. But with the Lord Vagar, I'm assuming that all this bestial stuff's going to be moved around. Which is very interesting. So, if I can't obviously add the guy to this army, because he doesn't exist yet. On Monday, I think you will. Monday is all the updates for all these rules, just so you guys know. On your app, that's when you get all these changes. It's going to be on Monday. The Conager is the pure blood human Einhar people, right? None of the monster stuff here, right? All the pure stuff, okay? The blooded was supposed to be the half measure people, right? The Vagar Lord is now the full-on beast people. So what's the blooded now? Is the blooded just going to be like all the beast stuff going to go away? Werewolves, beast pack, Fenrir. I think that's it, really, and goes away. If there is no overt overlap between the Blooded and the Vagar Lord, I welcome our new Vagar Overlord Lord to make some cool beast stuff. Beautiful, amazing. The Nords have this army composition model-wise. Like, when you look at it on the eShop, right? If I can click on this website because it's been dead all day. Everyone's been clicking on it, right? If I go over here and look at the Blood-Tide army for the Nords, right? Look how beautiful the army looks. Look at it. No army looks this good. Zero. Dogs, mountains, ogres, trolls, spear women, bow chosen, animal bowmen. No army looks this good with variety. None. Now, you may say an OD army or a Sea-States army has a beauty of its own because it all conforms to military standards. I get that. When it comes to a variety, nothing beats this. The problem is half the stuff on here you don't take anyway. Because of the way the army is constructed, and the rules just suck for werewolves and trolls and whatnot. But having another warband where you can make an all-bestial army, oh my god. Parabellum just wants my wallet again, don't they? Because I'm sold. You guys saw my Berserk stuff, right? I have 7 boxes of these damn things. Right? I'm doing the same for werewolves and the pigs and whatnot. Absolutely. Still waiting for better supremacies. Okay, if you're talking about Nords, we have the best supremacy in the game. That's the shamans. Now, that's not an argument against what you're saying. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not trying to belittle your point. I'm saying be content that we have the best supremacy in the game right now, even though our other supremacies are kind of... I want to be very careful. I don't want the shaman supremacy to ever change, so the other supremacies get better. Would I want the other supremacies to be better? Yes, but I've been playing wargaming. I've been wargaming since the 80s, since I was a wee child, and you have to be careful what you wish for. Just enjoy the shaman supremacy while it lasts. Okay? The Jarl supremacy might actually be useful now. Because if you can do these weird charging and locking shenanigans... Okay, guys. Think about this. Let's go over to... I think it's this capture. Yes. All right. Remember, my local players have still not fully grasped this change, what I'm about to tell you, okay? And this is hyper important, right? Hyper important. Right? Let's see. Hyper important. Come on, let's go. Cool. You see this line over here? I have to add another... Yes, let's do this real quick. When you're checking for charging and you want to know if you are in the front or flank of an enemy regiment, you check this line here, right? And if this line bisects any stands, I can choose if this one is going to be in the front or the side. The front or the side. And this one here is just in the front. I have found easily flank charging is so much easier now to do than before. Which got me thinking about the Jarl supremacy. Before, you couldn't do this. It was a lot hard to get in the side. But now, it's easier to get into the side. On top of the +2 charge you get for locking your regiment up. Now imagine this. I take Valkyries with a Volva, give them all the buffs in the world, which is one of the most defensive regiments in the entire game. It's more defensive than stupid steel forged, or whatever the Dweg have, right? Even with the defense 5. A brick of 6 Valkyries with a tooled up Volva is more defensive than that, which a lot of people still don't understand. You shove those ladies up the center of the board. I have played so many games where my opponents charge from the front, the side, even in the rear. You know what I'm talking about, Tree Monkey. I've had this regiment surrounded on all 4 sides and it would not die. Guess what? All those regiments now confer a +2 charge for my entire army to come help. It's like the Volva and the Valkyries become this charge magnet. I take her, park her on a zone and say, hey bro, you want my stuff to have +2 on the charge? You want my Ice Jotnar that's still chilling off the edge of the board to fly from the side 21 inches and the next round get even further, or my Bloodlusted regiments? The Nord game has changed. Completely changed. The Jarl supremacy might be worth taking now. Because you're going to try your best to get raiders into enemy regiments for that +2 to charge. And if you're doing that, you might as well take the Jarl's supremacy. Now, is that better than just taking the Shaman to give all your Berserks and Oofs Vanguard? I don't know. But my local players know that I'm going to try everything in my power to make the Jarl supremacy work now. As soon as that little thing clicks in my mind, I have to do it now. I have to spend like a month playing with a stupid Jarl to see if I can get it to work. I guess Huskarl's standard will give them reroll of 6 in defense. Interesting. The standard bar cost was reduced. Okay. Does the Huskarl standard not give them reroll or unstoppable? Do you know? With the points increase like 5 points. So, their standard gives them what? +1 March on the second March action, unstoppable, and reroll 6s in defense? Is that what you're telling me? If that's true, still take a Valkyrie. Still take a Valkyrie with the Volva. The Valkyrie's Blessed, even though it got nerfed against ranged, is still better than the Huskarls. The Huskarls are like trolls. They suffer from an identity crisis. Nords are an army of extremes. I think it does. Okay. Nords is an army of extremes. No other army is like this. You take a regiment and it does a single thing. Period. Wadrun can take a regiment, but depending on their chance, like a Swiss Army knife, they can do different things. Raiders do one thing and one thing only. They go forward and they lock things up. They block charges. Ogres do one thing and one thing only, countercharge. Trolls do nothing. And Huskarls do nothing. The regiments have to be fundamentally different in their special abilities, but I don't want to stay for an hour and talk about Nords and my ideas on how to change them, right? Real quick, I'll show you guys this. It's gonna be real fast. I can't help myself. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. We'll get back to Nords in a second. What's this? A Coral Defender? What the hell is a Coral Defender? Special rule. Fluid formations, loose formations. What's it? What's this? Slippery? Barnacles? Schooling? What is this? 90 points for this little crappy... Is that a fish gnome? Anyway. Moving on from that. Yes, Nord's game plan has changed completely. 100%. And I'm excited to see... I love these changes. I love these changes, right? We have the best in slot for every role and no alts. I think the Thunder Riders are the most offensive thing in the game. Nothing beats Thunder Riders on the charge. Nothing. Zero. Nothing beats them. Now, I've played against Thunder Riders, I think 3 times already. Like, many times. I've played against them, and they kill everything they touch. But, this is like a little side thing, not really to the changes today. They take up so many points from the Wadroon that, if the battlefield is cut in half, all right? Let's say, if the battlefield is cut in half, right? Let's see. Where is... Bruh. What's going on here? Brushes. Oh, brushes. Alright, anyway. The battlefield is this. And the dang Thunder Riders are here. Guess what? This is all his. It's all his. I can't do anything about it. But this sucker is like 600, 700 points all kitted out. 6 Thunder Riders with the Chieftain. Guess what the rest of the battlefield? It's all Nordville. In every game I've played against the most powerful regiment in the game, I've won because I could outscore them. They eat up too many points. They're just too many points. Right? But that's a side thing. That's a tactical thing. I don't want to sit here and talk about that too much. And then that player, Mr. Tyler, how you doing? He then broke up his 6-stand regiment into 2 stands. They still eat up so many points. And then he broke it down to 1, I think. So but he's trying and testing different things, right? To see what best works for him. Is this something you've made? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know. Maybe in about 6 months you'll find out. Anyway, I meant only Nords internally. Oh, internally? Okay. Internally? Okay, let's do this. Let's talk about some Nord stuff. Why not? We're having some fun and talking about some Nord stuff. Let's pop it over here. I'll give you my... I should make videos on this. I'll make a separate video on this another time. Is it this one? Okay, it is that one. All right. Cool. So, let's hop over to Browse Factions and Nords. I'm going to do a quick rundown. I want to create a video of this on my own at some point, right? Blooded, great supremacy, great warband. Take him. Jarl, he's the points filler. Coniger, great warband, crappy supremacy, but he has bow chosen and giants. Take him. Shaman, best supremacy in the game. Take him. Volva has access to Valkyries. Take her when you want a defensive block. The Jarl currently stands as when I take two warbands and I have like 400 points left over, or I'm trying to make redundant things, the Jarl fills in for it. He's like a good water boy, as they say, right? That's my take on all the warlords and their warbands. So they're all actually very useful. They all have a point. They absolutely, you take them for a certain reason, right? Berserks. Cleave 2, Clash 3, average. 5 attacks. Okay. Slightly more offensive than Ugars. Give him Gothy, rerolls. Awesome. Blessed. Cool. Bloodlust, you have resolve of 5. That can be problematic. Let's say you bring him on round 3, over the next 7 rounds, you're going to fail this once or twice. And when it does, it's going to suck. And everyone who plays this game knows when you're trying to charge somebody. I just had a game like this the other day. And you need to roll a 2+ to charge, and you roll a 1. You can almost always pinpoint that was the point in the game's a seesaw. That's the point where my opponent now got the advantage on me and then won the game. Be careful. Don't rely on these guys too much. My 5 Berserk list is a meme list. I don't know if it'll work. I'm doing it for the lulz, right? But Berserks, line breaker, no one cares. Yeah, your defense 3, you ignore one thing of cleave, whatever. They're only 4 wounds. They're paper thin, right? Whatever. So on their offensive scale, pretty good. What are they fighting for offensiveness? Let's just go down the line. I'm not talking about unreleased stuff. I'm not talking about these things, so we're going to go past them. Ice Jotnar costs a lot more points, has cleave 3. Doesn't come with Blessed like the Gothy gives. The Ice Jotnar used to have it if he got wounded, but he doesn't anymore. Unfortunately, the Ice Jotnar collects dust on my shelf. It's just too expensive for what he does. Trolls. Clash 2 and cleave 1. 5 attacks? Nope. Not offensive. Don't bother. Oofnadar. 8 attacks. Clash 2? Not for 210 points. Never going to happen. Nope. Also, they have different targets. The Berserks targets high defense regiments, and the Oofnadar targets low defense regiments. So they're both offensive, but for 2 different reasons. Funny enough, I think the Oof might be better against Dweg now than Berserks. Possibly. Because Berserks now 1 less defense on certain regiments, and they lost Bastion, meaning their defense is now 1 less across the board. Harden does nothing against Oofnadar. So they're both offensive for 2 different reasons, but right now the Berserks are the more elite offensive regiment so far. Ugers, 40 points less. Very close. Very close. If I were to think about taking a brick of something that's offensive with cleave, it's between these 2. Easily. Between these 2. Now, the Berserks cost more because of the Gothy. You have to take it. So it's really like, 205 points? And you're going to take a banner with them because when you charge, you need to reroll. So the Berserks actually cost 240. They're expensive. Expensive AF. Ugers are the only competition. And there's nothing else really that really competes offensively. Oh, like Mountain Jotnars. The Mountain Jotnar, where is that guy? I missed him, right? Mountain Jotnar competes with the Ugers. Really good. If I can, I take the Mountain Jotnar over the Uger. Why? I have a list. I call it Ugerville because it's just all Ugers, right? The reason why I don't pull the trigger and order all these Ugers is the footprint. I've learned that the physical footprint of a monster stand is better to maneuver than a regiment of 3 stands. So even though Ugers are cheaper and arguably can provide more of an offensive punch, it's a nightmare moving them around the board. For that fact alone, I go for all Mountain Jotnars. The Mountain Jotnars, it's a technical, physical issue. It can maneuver around the battlefield better than the Ugers can. So the Mountain Jotnar is just slightly a more dependable offensive regiment than the Ugers are. So let's go back to browse factions. Nords. So then it's between... And then you have the Sea Jotnar. Sea Jotnar, beautiful. If your opponents are not 100 Kingdoms, meaning they have brutes and monsters, Sea Jotnar is great. It comes out of reserves from Vanguard, goes next to a monster, throws a spear in its face, does some wounds, and goes, yo, bro, I'm winning Supremacy next round. What are you going to do? Every time. And my opponent's like, oh, shoot. This 21-inch moving monster came out of nowhere, and now I got to deal with this Sea Jotnar that now has Fiend Hunter sitting next to my Apex Predator / Buka Folii / city-states monsters / minotaurs, whatever, right? Nice. I take one in the list. It's good tech choice. It's a good tech choice to have in the list. I would still take mountains over seas because they're cheaper and they're more dependable. You don't always fight against brutes and monsters, right? And then you have the ice, which I already went over. So the top offensive in general are going to be the Berserks, Ogres, and Mountains. Mountains always beat out the Ogres, but Ogres are mainstay. Okay, so they have a niche that the Mountains don't have. So you can always fit like an Ogre regiment or two in an army and not feel bad. They actually serve a purpose to countercharge. And possibly with the Jarl's Supremacy, charge in the side to get Flurry. +1 attacks and Flurry. Pretty awesome, right? Cool. And Berserks work best with the Shaman's Vanguard ability. So those 3 regiments, the Berserks, the Mountain, and the Ogres, have different niches in list building where they don't trample over each other. They're actually all kind of useful. Unfortunately, the ones that get trampled would be the Trolls. And I just want to give my opinion on this. I want to see, okay, let's look at werewolves. Those beautiful werewolf models, right? Let's look at these guys, right? Werewolves. March of 7, great. Bloodlust, but they're light. They're coming off of your reinforcement zone. So you have to bring them on or hold them back with your once per turn, automatic onto or hold back around, right? Or hold back, whatever. So you can hold a werewolf regiment back until round 3. And because it's not a monster, it can actually on round 3 shoot off the side. So I can see people taking one regiment of werewolves as a tech piece to hold back on purpose with a shaman so it can then shoot off the sides. The issue is their resolve. If you don't play the werewolves correctly, you're going to fail that resolve too early, and then you're going to fail it and then not do anything. You're going to march instead of charging. So let's say my werewolves come off the reinforcement line with Vanguard, and for some reason I'm not within charge range of somebody, right? I got to roll resolve. Let's say I fail. I now just march towards the closest enemy regiment I can see, and then they're done. I think, right? I think it ends. I don't know. Then they're done, right? That's why I never thought of taking werewolves, because they're just unreliable and not useful. Because if I want to just shoot them on round 3 at somebody, I can do the same thing with Berserks. Berserks, I can just, when they become available on round 3, they're the auto on, right? And they just fly across the board and then poop on somebody. But what does the Vagar Lord give? I have no idea. I guess we're going to find out Monday. If he's included in the update. Will he be able to give werewolves flank? I don't know. Will he join the werewolves? Let's say he's resolve 3. He will then bring the werewolves resolve up by 1, which is helpful. Cool. Will he have an upgrade to bring the brute regiment he's with, bring their resolve up by 1? That would be awesome. So there's possibilities here. Jarl Supremacy is infantry only, though, isn't it? Yes. Luckily, the Prophecy Unfulfilled is non-monster, so you're going to combo all the weird stuff with the charges, with Ulfnadir, Berserks, etc., etc. You're not comboing it with the Mountain Jotnar. Cool. Let's look at the... Oh, don't look at that. Let's look at the Jarl's Supremacy. Surprise attack, right? While this character stands on the battlefield, all friendly infantry regiments, right? Berserks, Ulfnadir. I can never pronounce the Ulf name, so whatever. I call it whatever it is. Gain the opportunity special rules as well as +1 to their attack characteristics when performing a clash action, blah, 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 blah. Opportunist, right? Yep. It's just infantry. So you've never paired this up with brutes or monsters. And no Ogre, sadly. That's true. That's a big sad. That is a big sad. I'm gonna make something work. +1 to their attacks. It might just be good to have just more raiders. Raiders? Don't tell Parabellum this. Shh. Are really good. They are good. No one likes 13 Clash 3 re-rolling attacks in someone's flank, which I do all the time. I take 6 of them. They're always in someone's flank. Just pooping on them. Right? But imagine some Berserks, but I run them with the Shaman. I don't run them with the Jarl. I run them with the Shaman for the extra movement. There's a lot of testing. I'm so excited to test so many builds. Oh, I'm so excited and so happy. This is great. I've said months ago, I've said this before, and it's true. Nords did not have an identity. The only identity they had as an army, like the thing they do that separates them from other armies, is Bloodlust. Bloodlust is the thing that we share with Wadrun. And I hope Wadrun don't have too many Bloodlust regiments, please. Hope it's just the one worthless one no one takes. Keep it to the Nords. Bloodlust is an awesome identity. All monsters an awesome identity. I'm so excited to do this. So excited. Opportunist doesn't combo well with Raiders Flurry. Exactly. But they get +1 to their attacks, which is fine. +3 attacks. Was that 16 attacks on the side? I've devastated Dweg regiments with a stupid Raiders in the side. They just fail. And now that they've actually lose their Bastion, I don't know. Testing. Remember, all of this is rationalizations and theory. Now, I have some practice, some experience, but I don't have experience with these new changes. So I can't wait. See how excited I am? Now, once again, if you're a new player, stick with the army. Just stick with it. You're going to be rewarded. Sooner or later, the players are going to be lining up against you. And instead of them saying this to Dweg, oh my god, really? They're going to look at your list and go, oh my god. All your Jotnars and Raiders, all their stupid things. It feels great. It feels great. Anyway, I think I'm done for the night. 3.5 hours of streaming is fine. We've had fun. Great changes to the game. I'm hoping that Nords aren't a little overtuned. I don't know. Now, granted, the terrain change is terrain dependent. But since terrain is always player based anyway, you can use that to your advantage. Okay? And the only time that may become an issue is in a tournament setting. But then you can spot when the tournament organizer is moving terrain around to affect you. I've played in tournaments locally where the tournament organizers intentionally nerf terrain specifically because of my bow chosen. I did not like that. I'll never forget that. It was very annoying. But as far as terrain placement is concerned, that power should be in your hand. Anyway, have a good night, folks. Thanks for chilling. Thanks for hanging out. More Conquest content coming out soon. I have 4 battle reports that I have to work on to put out there. Yeah, I know I've been lazy. It is what it is. All this commission work. Anyway, guys, gotta go play test a lot. Yes, and don't give up. Don't give up. Tyler, if you're here, tell them. Sorry, not Tyler. Jason, if you're here, tell them, please. Nord is a rewarding army. Stick with it. Okay? Stick with it. Peace out, guys. Oh, yeah. Subscribe and follow, please. I'd like that very much.